We're out here in Yodi land.
Apparently so.
We've got Chino back there that they can't see. Oh,
No, they can see it.
They can kind of see her. Can you see me? Do you know who that is?
No.
It's Jerry Adams.
I don't know. I still don't know who that is.
He's like the leader of a Shen Fen in the north.
Oh.
Yeah. And there's this video where it was like cooking with Jerry Adams or something like that. And he was behind a hedge and he just goes, "Can you
I
see
think
me?"
you've shown me this before.
Yeah, it's one of the best videos like ever recorded. It's like a classic of Irish culture. And I've watched it like 100 times.
Can you see me? That is pretty funny.
Yeah. Are you doing cardistry again?
I don't know what I'm doing.
What's your thesis?
It come out of nowhere.
It did come out of nowhere.
No one was expecting it.
No one expected the Spanish Inquisition.
You want to see a trick that you'll see exactly how it's done, but they won't?
Yeah.
Oh, I kind of fucked it up. It's called the snap change. It only works from one angle. But you can see how it works if you look at the back.
Yeah.
It's n0saka syndrome from that YouTube channel. What's got loads of subscribers, mate? It's that goddamn motherfucker n0saka syndrome from that fucking place with the things, with the bitch with the fucking the hair from one of these types of bitches. You know what I'm saying?
One of these types.
One of these types of birds.
Someone in the chat said, "Get n0saka UK neat bucks."
I can't even get neat bucks, and look at me. I'm obviously autistic.
I have US neat bucks now.
Yeah, you don't need UK neat bucks.
I need Australian neat bucks. It's gonna happen. You guys just wait.
Oh, not great. Not
you
quite.
fucked it up.
I fucked it up.
Yeah.
You can't. It doesn't work if you can see the card. There you go.
Where are you off to next, n0saka? This is your live stream. Everyone's talking to me.
Well, you're the famous one.
I am the famous one. Clearly not autistic. Lol.
I am literally diagnosed with autism.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have we made eye contact once on this live stream? No.
I'm doing card magic. How about I'm surrounded by anime guys? What more proof do you need, people?
Yeah. Where I'm off to next is probably either Mexico or Australia. It depends on how long it'll take for my work visa with Australia to go through.
When the autism people were diagnosing me, I just started explaining the law of horizon in the middle of nowhere, and then they just ticked off the box that says autistic.
Did you really do that?
No, I didn't do that. I should have though.
I feel like you would have done that.
I did say that I'd been watching Thomas the Tank Engine, but that was just true. I had been. It was a good show.
Jesus.
It's a good show.
It's a good show. That probably helped your case.
Maybe. But it was weird. Like the report, I don't know. I guess they were just saying I have low function or high functioning autism in the report because they were like making a case of all the stuff I can do, which is fair enough. I am high functioning.
They did the same thing to me. I can't read from here. I don't have my glasses on.
Autistic assessment. What OS do you have? Linux. Okay, congratulations. You're statistic. My GF. You've got a GF. Get out of here.
Disgusting.
Yeah, my GF keeps trying to get me to watch Thomas the Tank Engine. It's a good show.
Is she trans?
Oh, obviously. Do you need to ask?
Yeah, they are watching No Thank You.
Yes, duh. Here. I haven't done this in years. Oh, not quite. It's not really a magic trick. It's I actually forget what it's called.
Whenever I've had a trans GF in recent times, when I say GF, I'll put /G/F.
I see.
Yeah. So it's like G, the 4chan
Yeah.
board.
No, I understood. I understood what you're getting at.
Yeah, but what I should have been doing, as I've
Well, you
realized,
see, you made the mistake. You were trying to get a /G/F, but you should have been trying to get a G/F/ from the flash board.
I agree. I should have 2D is the only way. No, what I've realized, based on the revelations in our new vlog on my channel, what I should have been doing is putting parenthesis, GF, close parenthesis, close parenthesis, close parenthesis.
Hey, I wonder what's going on in here. Welcome to the stream, sheep. Welcome to the stream, sheeple.
You're a sheep.
You're a sheeple.
Sheep.
There's no framing where we're both. There we go. Well, it's
Yeah.
because I'm sitting like miles away from you for some reason.
It's because I'm autistic.
That's probably true.
Yeah. Thomas the Tank Engine was my childhood autistic obsession.
It's a good show, as we keep saying.
It's a good show. It's no SpongeBob.
It's no SpongeBob. Ringo Starr, yeah.
Yeah.
He was the narrator.
Yeah.
And then the fucking comedian George Carlin, right? Which is a really weird, but he's actually a really good narrator.
George Carlin was also in Cars, the movie Cars.
But he was? Who
Yeah.
was he playing Cars?
I don't remember who he played, but he was in it, yeah.
Huh.
George Carlin loved being in autism core cartoons.
Yeah, Cars is great. I love Cars.
I hate Cars.
You hate Cars?
I've always hated Cars.
Why do you hate Cars?
I don't like Owen Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't like the way it looks.
I see.
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson was Lightning McQueen. Yeah. True.
This sheep is based. I don't care if they're a sheep. I saw some sheep recently.
I saw that you posted a video called Sheep ?
I don't even know if that was the footage that I recorded of the sheep.
I see.
I just uploaded all the videos I had from my trip to Wales.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but the sheep there, they literally look like fucking stuffed animals.
It's great.
I've never seen sheep like that in my life.
I love sheep.
Yeah, me too. I want to get some.
So do I. That's the plan. We're going to have cyber sheep one day.
You think so?
I'm going to have them. I don't know about you.
Genetic engineering, maybe?
They already genetically did that.
Did they?
I mean, they cloned one.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Dolly the sheep, the first animal they cloned, like big animal. Do you don't know about this?
No.
It died like... It was, yeah, they cloned a sheep. The first clone.
Oh, lots of things are happening.
Me mum just went to Scotland. That's how I imagine you sound. Me mum just went to Scotland. The sheep there are interesting. The first clone was Dolly. Dolly.
My mom just went to Scotland.
I'm American. Okay. Me mom just went to Scotland.
My mom just went to Scotland, and
My mom just went to Scotland, and now I'm in No Thank You's live stream talking about sheep. This is the worst fucking bit of all time. I need to unmute you in the server. In my Discord server? You're muted?
Mods have gone crazy with power.
How are you muted? I don't think I've ever muted anyone. What did I do?
You muted me.
Why did I do that?
I don't remember. I've just made it up.
Oh. Sheep counting me. It doesn't say you're muted.
Paranoid schizophrenic. That's in his bio.
How do I? It doesn't look like you're muted to me, unless I'm. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Are you guys fucking? No.
No.
Definitely not.
No. Interesting theory, though.
Hi, the good student. You muted me, server, for peeing in a VoIP. Don't sad face emoji.
They're probably just big fans of both of us.
I see.
They want.
Listen. You can write all the fanfic you want, but it's not happening. All right. How do I unmute this person? Do you have any idea? You use Discord more often.
I don't use Discord. Also, I don't know how.
Oh,
it's right there.
I did it. Okay, you're no longer muted. Oh, you're in the voice chat. You're not coming on the stream. I don't know what you want from this. Discord? I'm howling at the moon. It's called The Crazy World. It's in. If you go on any of my music on my main channel, it's in the description. You can just find it there. I can't bother to send you a link. No one ever VCs, so it's not like you've gained that much.
No one expected the Spanish D.
What is all of this? What is this?
They're big fans of both of us. That's what I'm saying.
This is absurd.
This is absurd. This is not. If anyone knew the way that we interact as friends on a regular basis, they would see these statements and it would become immediately absurd to them.
Yes.
Yeah. It would be like you and Lil Crazy Bitch having sex.
That would be fucked up.
That would be.
Can we stop talking about this? I didn't think so. I just couldn't talk. Yeah, I forgot No Thank You existed until I saw my GF listening to his music.
Are they trans?
Obviously. You don't need to keep asking. You want to hear some new music? Here, let's leak.
This is a leak.
Let's leak. I'll just skip to like somewhere in the middle.
That was pretty.
n0saka, how do you have traveling money?
What's your OnlyFans? Good to see you're not hiki neat. Okay. I do not have an OnlyFans. I've been on someone else's OnlyFans.
I didn't know this.
You didn't know this.
I don't know if I want to know this.
I don't. But the thing is, no one knows it's me because it's just my dick.
Okay,
it's just the bottom half of my body.
Holy shit, man.
The reason I have traveling money is twofold. The first reason is because I have neat bucks. The other reason is because I borrowed my way out of Brexit to get here.
It's true.
Yeah. Reminds me of a Death Grip song.
It's not really Death Gripsy at all. It's just jungle. Unism is here.
Unism.
It's not Unism.
Oh, I thought
Unim.
I thought it was Unism. I was like, yo, I love that guy.
I don't know who Unim is, but it's a cool name.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Aspie Pilled.
He's British.
Anything could be true.
He's from the UK.
Anything could be. Who knows? Who can say? Really?
Who can say? That feel one literally just got off of an 18-hour shift. I fucking feel you, dude. My old cleaning job, I've done that before. Osaka is British, isn't it? Is now British, isn't it? What do you think
No,
of that?
thank you. Your music sucks. 2 out of 10. I recommend. Thank you. Wait, is that a compliment? I don't think that's a compliment.
I don't think
but
that's a compliment.
hey, if you don't like my music, that is fair enough.
My British friend in Swansea told me that I'm more British than him because I've read the BBC every morning for the last 4 years and unironically watch PMQs.
You also used to watch Doctor Who.
Yeah. Yeah, before the Doctor became a whore.
You watched through the Peter Capaldi era?
I did. I love Peter Capaldi.
I like him as an actor, but I didn't like the writing in I just didn't like Clara at all.
I still liked it. Osaka certainly
oh my
watched
God. We just can't get away from just this subject matter.
it.
Okay, you got skull emoji. Is that even what emoji even
I
is
thought
that?
there was a person emoji.
Maybe it is. It's a very small, whatever that Unicode character is.
Yeah.
You were beaten to the punchline.
Why are they talking about big black cock in the chat?
It's your audience.
Yeah.
They've all come to my stream. These are all new. No, they're not actually. I know every single one of these people. Have I watched Eraserhead? I have. I saw it in the cinema.
Razorhead's good.
It's great.
I don't have any like analytical thoughts on it. I just love David Lynch.
Yeah.
Everything he does.
It was kind of just a sensory experience. I wouldn't like trying to describe it analytically feels like it would be defeating the point.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be like trying to describe what a utopian place is.
I don't know what that means.
Like, I think Eraserhead is literally a model utopia.
I'm not a fucking anarcho-primitivist. Why does everyone think this? Now Osaka's just going to use this against me for the next 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's not true. I never was, and I never will be.
What about Twin Peaks? It's one of the best pieces of art ever made.
Agreed, although I still haven't finished it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched season 3.
Well, wrecked.
But I liked the first 2 seasons. Well, there's a bit in the middle of season 2 that's kind of slow and nothing happens, but still generally good.
I'm not a primitivist in any sense. This guy isn't allergic to the stuff.
No, I am. These days, I am allergic to this stuff.
Really?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Well, okay. I'm not a primitivist in any sense, but I love Ted Kaczynski. He's one of my favorite thinkers.
I think Ted Kaczynski has said some interesting things, even if I disagree with some of it as well.
Mm-hmm. He had a good point about violence.
Hold on. So yeah, I'm not for anarcho-primitivism or whatever. No, people get very confused. All I say is like, hey, maybe like websites shouldn't be full of trackers and ads. Maybe like we shouldn't. Maybe people shouldn't just all conglomerate on like the same 4 websites, and people should host their own websites with minimal software. And everyone's like, you're an anarcho-primitivist.
No, you're actually just a techno-feudalist.
I'm that's closer to what I believe, but it's still not even that close at all. I'm a Web 0 futurist.
You literally just reinvent feudalism every couple days
It's
and then
true.
call it something else.
Listen, okay, listen, guilty as charged, okay? But have you seen the Twin Peaks movie? Yes, I've seen Fire Walk with Me. Have you seen it?
No.
It's got David Bowie in it, isn't it?
Oh.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
He's only in it for a little bit. He just has a cameo, but
I see.
It's cool. It's a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Much more like late Lynch films. I don't know. Oh, season 3 was. I still haven't seen it. Ted was bad. Your stuff like 5 years was just ranting. Seemed like anarcho-primitivism. 4 nuanced for me. 2 nuanced for me. I went through a phase where I was I wasn't a primitivist, but I was kind of. I'd been given bad facts. I was convinced that like environmental collapse was much closer than I think it actually is. Like I thought that like within our lifetimes we might experience some sort of environmental collapse, and that we should like be planning for that eventuality. That was my position, and I was saying like not just planning for that eventuality, but if you have like liberatory politics, then you should be planning to take advantage of environmental catastrophe or like collapse in order to like build a new society out of the ashes kind of deal. But nowadays, I'm much less convinced that that sort of thing is ever going to happen. I was just I was given bad information, okay, given biased information, and I hadn't. It took me a while to get around to reading the other side.
You wanted to plan farms on a Sega Master System.
I mean, you could do that if you wanted.
And then have like a Dreamcast where you go on an IRC.
Where did you get this plan farms on a Sega Master System thing from? Is it because I think what I said was like that, like what's called collapse computing.
Yeah, Collapse OS.
Not Collapse OS. Collapse OS is like a particular thing, but collapse computing is like the name for the field of study that encompasses all of the idea of like how to do computers post-collapse, basically.
Yeah, but Collapse OS is the one that goes on the Master System.
Well, that's one project in this field of study of collapse computing.
You were really into talking about it, though.
Yeah, well, I thought it was cool. It still is cool. It's a cool idea. I'm glad someone out there is working on something like that.
Yeah, me too.
Just in case, you know.
I mean, I would just want to do that as a daily driver, or have that.
I mean, it's a fourth machine. Anything you can program in fourth, you can use Collapse OS to do.
IRC?
No internet.
No IRC. Oh fuck! I want to use IRC on like a Dreamcast with like NetBSD or something.
Oh, you can do that.
Yeah,
that's not hard at all.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to communicate to you every day on that.
Yeah, I'm down to use IRC.
Yeah,
I used to use IRC all the time.
Me too.
But it's not encrypted.
It's not, but it's cooler to have an old machine.
That's true. But there's a like GoMux is pretty light. It's not very resource intensive. I run GoMux on my X60 in like, look, allow me to demonstrate. And for the camera as well. Well, this is going to take 10 years to turn on. So, why don't you blog more often? No thanks. Do you read blogs much? I feel like vlogs are better anyway. That I basically agree. Like for me, I'm not a writer, unlike this motherfucker. Like I have to be in a very specific mood to be like, I want to write a long-winded blog post. And it's just not very often.
Are you implying I don't have to be in a particular mood to do that?
What I'm implying is you're probably in that mood more often than I am.
I feel like I write less than you do.
Maybe. I actually started writing a blog post the other day, but I just decided to vlog it instead. And that became, I said the other day, it was a while ago, that became the video about the need for diversified societies. Am I late for the goon sesh, or can I catch up? The thing is, you could be talking about boxed wine or pornography addiction. We don't know.
I think they would assume that both of us are drunk, even though neither of us are.
I see.
Yeah, because I'm always drinking in my videos, and you used to always be drinking in your videos.
It's true.
Yeah. I'm just like you from like 2 years ago.
It's true.
Yeah.
I don't want to build a new society. I want a free PS5. Yeah, I agree. I just want UBI.
My thing.
You just want drugs.
Wait. Okay. This is a little bit of a negative characterization.
Hold on. Is that not true? I believe you said I'm a single issue voter. I just want drugs. I think you actually said those exact words.
I said those exact words this morning, didn't I?
I think it was something like that.
Yeah, it's kind of true. I mean, like, if you look at, like, I just did a anti-Semitic rant in the last video that we did. Like, I have, like, almost no consistent politics, but for the last, like, 6 years or whatever, like, I've just thought the exact same stuff about drugs, only in more depth. So I don't know.
Here we go. Text mode, GoMux. Let me scroll down to less private conversations.
There's a fuck ton of there's a fuck ton of stuff in the chat. Do you want me to?
Oh yeah, read it out here. Here you can see text mode, GoMux. I can even look. I can even surf the web in another tab if I want to. Okay, you don't need much. Is what my point. That could run on a Raspberry Pi easily.
You read it because I don't have my glasses on.
Okay. Why don't you blog?
Are you happy the Russians might lose the war? Someone said.
I oppose the war in Ukraine. and I'm happy with anything that gets the war over with. I just want people to stop dying.
Yeah, I mean, I have basically the same position, although I will say, as far as like the moral totality of a state is concerned, I feel like Ukraine is they're kind of better, like as a country, like
Would you say they more embody the desirable qualities of Russian lawlessness?
no, well, Russian lawlessness is not desirable.
You were talking about how much you loved it.
I
You said it was why the Russian people are innocent.
Okay, so I went on a research rabbit hole about Ivan Ilyin after I watched a Kraut video. And then I just started ranting to you about the research I was doing. That is not the same thing as believing in Russian state propaganda. But yeah, Ukraine, I'd rather live in Ukraine than Russia. That's basically my stance.
Not right now.
Well, maybe right now. I could go there right now.
Maybe like Lviv, because it's far away from Russia.
I should totally go there. They'd love me because they'd be like, "Oh, thank you for your support, mister."
Maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, if the environment collapses after our lives, who cares? Yeah, I basically agree. Is anarcho-primitivism just LARP? For some people, for a lot of people, yes. For some people, no. I don't know what answer you want. No, thank you. Force Osaka to watch anime until she likes it again. Do you not like anime?
I love anime.
I don't know where this is coming from. You don't watch much anime anymore, though.
No, because I have a bad attention span. I was watching a lot of anime on heroin.
I see.
Because it cured my ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
It cures a lot of things.
Just like any illness, like heroin is to you what garlic is to me. I'm just like to eat some raw garlic if anything's going wrong with you.
It's a multi-purpose drug in my experience.
Garlic is a multi-purpose drug. It's the allicin in the garlic. It's what does it to you.
I would take some heroin and then like a little datura, like a really small amount.
Datura?
Yeah.
What? Why?
It makes jacking off incredible.
Oh, I see.
It fixes like opiates like mess with like your blood constriction or whatever. Datura counteracts that, and so you get an opiate cum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you had fun. No thanks. Can I read your VN? I literally can't figure out how to export it. I think I've done something wrong. But hopefully one day, yes. No thank you is Muslim? ? No. Is it just because of the beard?
Read God in the State.
Yeah, don't. It's all right.
It's good.
It's pretty good.
He went on a rant about the Jews in it.
What, Bakunin?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
That's kind of based. But
I'm a bad influence on you.
I'm Jew. Look at this. Look at this. Look at his nose. You see how it's shaped like a 6, like the Nazis used to say. Clearly, I'm okay with it. Clearly, I'm allowed to say stuff like this. Question. For Osaka. Osaka, what do you think of No Thank You's ideas of a regular Denpa podcast?
I'd show up, but I'd be an irregular guest because I'm a lazy piece of shit.
Yeah, and this is everyone else's take as well.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that would actually show up to a podcast on time every week. Osaka is a consumer? ?
Am I?
I don't know.
I think the question's for you.
Is Osaka a consumer? I don't think so. No. Maybe I don't know. I don't think I don't see Osaka watching like I don't even know what's the new what's current thing.
Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, you're not watching Chainsaw Man.
I was.
Oh, yeah.
I like Chainsaw Man. I like the manga more,
but if you've read the manga, that kind of discounts it because then it's like, oh, you're actually a fan of the source material, not just watching it because it's current thing.
Yeah, I made a black friend in the mental hospital who had Chainsaw Man, and he would let me read his manga. He was also a metalhead, and we would trade bands.
Interesting.
Yeah. Most of what I do is just stare at walls and do like Sims.
It's true.
Movements. Like he's seen me in real life. This is what I do.
Yeah, it's very strange. It's like you're just doing reload animations from like that old green text, the guy, he's like, I go to the club, I don't know how to dance, I just do reload animations the whole night.
Yeah.
The oiled up high with a bunch of degenerates kind. I don't know what you were
I
referring
don't know
to.
what that means.
The war is a shit show, no winners. Agreed.
Mhm.
Ukraine is a oh god.
Oh wait, wait, let me see.
Ukraine is a Ukraine is a Judeo-Slavic, neo-European, gay liberal, fake Slavic, corrupt country.
That is not
Holy
true.
shit, that's a mouthful.
That is not even remotely true. Just because they have two Jewish heads of state doesn't mean they're like corrupted by the Jews or whatever. They just elected them.
I don't understand how can any like right wingers be like, oh, Ukraine is a Jewish state when like the Azov battalion is fighting for them.
Yeah, not only are they fighting, well, the thing is, they're like a tiny battalion that's like only made up of like 20% Nazis or something.
At the beginning, it was a tiny battalion. They have become rather large since the start of the war.
Yeah, but they're like not a super political.
But I'm not. Yeah, I agree. Most of the Azov battalion started there.
Yeah,
isn't like overt Nazis.
Yeah, but I just want to say, like, yeah, like, they are exceedingly corrupt. However, they're not any more corrupt than like EU, Eastern European countries like Hungary or Bulgaria or something. Like they're at about the same tier as those countries, which is not good, but like nowhere near as corrupt as Russia, which I would assume by the language that you're using, you probably like them a lot. Yeah, just because they elect Jews in their government doesn't mean they're like controlled by Israel or some nonsense like that.
Interesting.
Yeah. Support Russia for 4chan aesthetic reasons, not moral reasons?
No, morale reasons. He's talking about mushrooms, the morale mushrooms.
I see.
Well, I would do anything for morale mushrooms because they're cool.
Mm-hmm.
No thanks. Didn't you say that you manly, but most of your friends are winks sus?
What?
I think that's supposed to be twinks. This is true.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone I know is really skinny for some reason.
Look at this shit.
Yeah, like
yeah.
I'm not gonna. I don't know. My wrists aren't fat, but maybe they kind of are. I don't know. Yeah, I'm like tall and bulbous. I'm fast and bulbous.
My wrists aren't fat because I slit them.
Oof, that's edgy.
It was a lyric I just made up.
Then it's not a lyric.
It'll be one in the future once I learn how to play a chord.
Inshallah. How's chess going, you? How is chess going, you? I'm very, very, very slowly improving. I'm still very, very bad though. Anyone could beat me, but I'm slightly improving day by day. The dream team, Glowy's seething right now. It's true. It's true.
Yes.
n0saka, no thanks. What did you think of Kraut's Russia video and his videos in general these days? He had an interesting transformation. I don't know who this person is, so.
Yeah, I liked his video a lot. Although I think there were some factual inaccuracies. So one of the things that he claims in the video is that Dugin is not some kind of Kremlin whisperer, but rather like he merely takes the ideas of Lev Guminev, Ivan Ilyin, and Carl Schmitt and like mixes them up as a sort of advocate for Russian state policy overseas by hanging out with like Canadian fascist Lauren Southern and these sorts of people, as like a media spokesperson. I think this contains truth, this statement, but it's not the whole story, because if you actually read Alexander Dugin, like his philosophical synthesis of like Ganon, and like his weird object-oriented ontology stuff.
He doesn't like object-oriented.
Yeah, he doesn't like it.
Flat ontology, isn't that what he calls it?
Yeah.
So I've never read Dugin.
I have.
I feel bad for him though, because his daughter got blowed up.
Yeah, that's pretty sad. But like the IRA aside, basically, like I think there actually is a lot of intellectual merit to Dugin, and I think he's a really fascinating thinker, definitely original in some regards, even though like this is the thing, he is kind of taking these three thinkers Kraut mentioned in that video and like synthesizing them in a way that is unoriginal, but there's more to it. There's more to the story, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so on Kraut's videos in general, I just want to say that rant that I just did, it's indicative of a broader problem in his videos, which is like latent historical inaccuracies and like kind of misrepresenting information to push an agenda. I think that's like the worst aspect of his
Yeah,
videos.
can you
Is
like
that,
come over here? My back's kind of hurt.
yeah, that's fine.
Something.
Is the ahistoricism over here?
Wherever you want to go.
All right.
Doesn't really matter.
Wait. Yeah. All right.
All right.
That was my rant.
Good rant. Let's see. To continue. Sorry.
Yeah,
That's bad camera work. Chainsaw Mid, true.
Mhm.
The tone of the Chainsaw Man anime feels really off. I don't know. I agree.
I agree.
It also looks like shit. Everyone else thinks it looks great, but I think it looks like shit.
It looks all right.
Blogs/articles are okay if there's research in them. Otherwise, it's kind of boring just to read some. Yeah, I so agree.
Well, here's the thing, right? It's not about just the opinions of some guy. If they're like really interesting, like unique opinions, that can be cool. But I feel like, and Digi actually got this right, the like reviews are an art form. So it's not just about the ideas being espoused. It's about the way in which they're espoused. It's about the how, not the what.
Yeah.
And so if you have an understanding of reviews as an art form, you're more equipped to treat it as an art form, as in make it interesting for how the things are being said.
Yeah, and in my 12-hour-long vlog, there's a segment where I talk about like why I don't use Gemini or Gopher and these sorts of things as much as I'd like to. And I
Yeah.
said that like a lot of these blogs are people who, since they're on Gemini, they're like comp sci type people who think that because they understand comp sci, they understand like the whole world.
Yeah.
And that like, yeah, and like that's a lot of the sort of people that you find in these places. And that's just not an interesting take. I've seen it a million times before. Favorite metal bands?
Is this for me or both of us?
I guess both of us.
Yeah, you start.
Oh god. Gris, or like Gris, it's spelled, but it's French, so Gris. Black metal band. Leviathan, Zasta, obviously. You got to get your DSBM in there.
Mhm.
Let's see. Grief. I Hate God. Let's see. What's that one called? Oh fuck! I love him. I forgot the name.
Give me some hints.
They made a song. They had like a sludge metal, like from New Orleans.
I don't know, offhand.
Fuck. I'm for some reason the song "Saturday Savior" is just looping in my head. That's not their song. They made a song called "The Lasting Dose," and I've forgotten the name of the band, but that's a really good album. That's one of my favorite metal albums. Yeah, I feel retarded because I can't remember the name. Bathory. I don't actually like Bathory.
I love Bathory. Okay, so for me it would be like Bathory, Agaloch, Sadness. Alcest is another really good one. They're like a symphonic black metal band, or like melodic black metal, I guess, or with like some post rock in there. Really good. Let's see who else.
Boris. If they even count as a metal band.
Yeah, if Boris
is definitely Boris and Sun. I would put on mine as well.
Oh yeah, same. There's this band called Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats.
Uncle Adams.
Yeah, sure, Uncle Adams. Uncle Acid, I feel like they take, like stoner rock, like Black Sabbath type stuff, and synthesize it really well, almost with like the Beatles. Like they're kind of proggy in the sense that like all their songs are like 9 minutes long. And also they like are very like lo-fi stoner metal type stuff. Uncle Acid's great. Oh fuck, there's so many.
I used to be really into stoner metal, but I've kind of gotten over it.
Yeah, they're like the ones that's the band that I consistently still listen to a lot. If we're going into like more classic stuff, like I love like Merciful Fate or King Diamond. Like There's so many
There's so
bands.
many.
There's so
It's
much.
kind of a big question.
Oh, yeah. One of my favorite bands of all time is also oh fuck, the guy who was the guitarist and singer for Carnivore. Typo Negative. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Typo Negative is like my third favorite band ever. They're so good. Yeah, hopefully that's a sufficient answer.
All right, this is an n0saka question. Lauren Southern is a fascist? Question mark.
Yes. I mean, you look at the things that she says, and it's like almost verbatim, like all of the policies of the Russian government.
I read the Chainsaw manga. I haven't watched the anime. I think people liked it because the protagonist is more relatable than the average shonen protagonist trying to be the very best. Fair enough. Nothing great though. Have you seen Recreators or read? Yeah, I've seen Recreators is the one.
About anime being real.
No, I don't think that's it. Right?
I thought that was the premise.
No, isn't that something else?
It might be. I don't know.
Wait, I might be wrong. Which one's Recreators? I thought Recreators was the one about the guy who
Relives high school. That's real life.
No, he doesn't relive high school. He relives college this time. It's a different show with a similar name about a guy who relives college or uni.
Huh.
I think that's the one it is. I might be wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of a different show entirely.
Yeah.
I've read Katawa Shoujo though, and that was the first visual novel I read, and it was good. Have you read Katawa Shoujo?
No.
You should. It's really, really good.
It's too long.
It's not. Just read one route, and then you'll want to keep going probably. But the problem, I'll tell you the problem with Katawa Shoujo. It's too good because you read a route, and then you're like, oh my god, and then you go to the next route, and it's like, oh my god, I'm cheating on this person because it's so good. You're like, I can't date another girl after that, if you know what I mean. You'll know.
You did that.
What?
You dated a girl.
I did do. I have done that a couple times actually.
They're
believe
named
it or not.
Goat Smite.
We're still dating.
Exactly.
They're in the other room.
Exactly.
Hold on.
I love rotoscoping.
I'm tired. I'm so sick of rotoscoping trend in anime. Me too. I fucking hate it.
No, robotrip or roboscoping is great.
Rotoscoping.
Rotoscoping. Yeah.
Well, because of that stupid fucking cheek account. Yeah, it's the worst. I fully agree with you. It's cheap accounting me. I thought the manga was fine, but also really, really quick read. But I'm not really enjoying the anime at all, and everything I hated about the manga is worse than the anime. Like, yeah, that makes sense. Have you read anime magazines like Otaku USA or Neo? No, I've never read those. I won't likely stay awake to listen to this, but I'm hyped you two are talking together in person. It is hype. No thanks. Are you a theist? No, not really.
We literally just recommended God and the state earlier.
No, I'm not a theist, although I do find religion very interesting to study, but I'm not religious myself. But,
yeah, same.
If I were a theist, I would probably be some sort of cringe pagan because I just am more like polytheism is way more interesting to me than monotheism. But I'm not. I don't believe in it anyway, so it doesn't matter. Thanks for the medal recommendations. You're welcome. Any advice for a real boy living in Tokyo? Yo, Two Straws is here. Oh yeah, I do have advice for you. Go to Old Tokyo Cafe. Let me see if I can find it. It's got a French name. No. None of these are it. We're gonna keep going. Oh yeah, Cafe de l'Ombre in Tokyo. Here, I will copy paste the name into the chat. Go there. It's good cup of coffee. Typo Negative is so good.
Yes.
Thoughts on the flat Earth hologram lizard vampire Jews? It's all real. Recreators is the one about anime being real. I thought it was anime Gataris. I guess I haven't seen.
There's multiple about that.
I haven't seen Recreators. Have you seen it?
No, but I remember when people were discussing it. That's why I knew the premise.
All right, I'll watch it at some point.
Yeah.
Watched it in France. No, thank you. What's your favorite Katawa Shoujo route? Probably Rin.
The one about Wittgenstein.
No, that's a different visual novel. Look how far we've come. I haven't read Guitar Shoujo, but I felt that exact same feeling.
What's up, bitch?
We're doing a live stream, just to let you know.
I see.
What up?
You're doing a live stream. I'm not gonna bother you.
You can bother us. I just wanted to let you know so you don't start going on a rant about the Jews or whatever.
Yeah, now I'm gonna go into the Holodomor.
Oh,
It never happened.
The Holodomor?
It never happened.
Interesting.
Where'd that Russian go? They went out the door.
Okay. I haven't read Guitar Shoujo, but I felt that exact same feeling with other visual novels. True. Have you seen the movie where David Bowie's an alien? I have not. Have you seen that movie?
It
With
sounds.
the Man Who Fell to Earth, I think.
Oh, I saw it as a kid.
Osaka, how was Wales?
It was
spelled like the animal.
It was wonderful. Like I think Swansea is perhaps the best designed city in all of the UK and one of the best in the world. It's perfectly sized and it's all built around the ocean on these giant hills. So the higher up you go, the further into the city you are, and the more of the ocean you see overlooking the plains. It's just absolute like breathtaking. I wish I lived there.
Swansea.
Yeah, I'll go to Wrexham someday.
I don't. Osaka's obsessed with Wrexham. It's like like no one's heard of Wrexham. It's not a tourist destination. It's just a random town in the middle of Wales.
In North Wales. North Wales has even more sheep than South Wales.
It's
I gotta
true.
go. I'm going to Australia.
Oh, here we go. We're about to get into it.
Okay.
Osaka, I gotta disagree that Lauren or Russia is fascist. Fascism died decades ago, kept alive by LARPers online.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I did that voice.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at like
but to put my position in here, I also think Osaka uses the term fascism too generally, but we've already had arguments about this.
Yeah, so
I generally end up conceding.
Yeah, I mean, my definition of fascism, roughly speaking, just to be general here, is when the state starts taking the colonial mindset or colonial policy and then implementing it.
My definition of fascism, I mean Lenin's definition of fascism.
Well, the thing is, Lenin, when he came up, like the way he defined fascism was heavily influenced by the writings of Ivan Ilyin, who was the first fascist, and who also, you know, after like he was put on the philosopher's ship and like Lenin basically spared him from getting shot in the head, the writings that he wrote ended up influencing the fascist movement in Italy and Germany and so on, and crucially speaking, the modern Russian state. If you look at the speeches that Vladimir Putin does, and even like the classes that you have to take in school in Russia, Ivan Ilyin is everywhere. The Orthodox Church, one of the most essential.
No, that's not what Osaka's not saying. Fascism is when government bad. Osaka's saying the Russian state is specifically influenced by this guy who basically was the first fascist.
Yeah.
Not just government bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, like, and so you look at like the Russian Orthodox Church, and they explicitly advocate this guy as well, who's one of the most essential organs in perpetuating the Russian state. Like, it's so explicit the way that he's talked about and his ideas are implemented that I feel like it's impossible. You have to literally be like denying something right in front of you, which I mean, as a fascist, I'd assume you're pretty good at. In order to disagree with me on this.
I don't know anything about Ivan Ilyin or the Russian state or really anything. I don't know what I do know, but from what you've described about Ivan Ilyin, he sounds more like a Christian nationalist or like a Christian traditionalist.
People nowadays call him a Christian fascist, right? And his movement, Christian fascism.
Interesting. Okay, yeah. Let's keep going through these comments. Newness, transformation, reinvention are topics that you both have repeatedly. Holy shit! This is like written like an essay. Repeatedly touched on. How do you currently relate to these ideas artistically, personally, politically, and in YouTube content? Wow, that's a deep question. Artistically, I'm trying to make more future-y sounding music. I'm trying to listen to the music that I find sounds like the future, which for me is like certain like grime and jungle, and like add a sort of I guess a more like modernize the genres. That's kind of what I'm doing. I say modernize, but the genres are already sound modern. I'm just trying to like take it and run with it, just make it and just explore it. I don't know if I'll ever post it anywhere. I'm just interested in that sound right now. And in terms of like other stuff, I mean, politically, I've been going on a lot of rants about like digging deep to talk about um, societal structure from like a systems architecture point of view. Which I guess I'm trying to like think about it like that in order to like reinvent the wheel. And in YouTube, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. What about you, n0saka? How do you answer this very deep question?
I have no idea, because my philosophy, my general creative philosophy, is just to do everything completely spur of the moment without thinking about any of it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
The only like esoteric spirituality worth looking at is Gnosticism. Gnosticism is fascinating. I really like it.
Yeah, me too. Stream more Osaka? No.
I remember n0saka saying would never GF. Such growth. It's so true.
Yeah, we need to go back. Don't worry, I'll red pill him again. I'm the anti-woman person here now.
What do you mean now? This is the creator of You Don't Need Sex, the greatest YouTube video of our times. What do you think of Steins Gate and Steins Gate Zero? Didn't like Zero? I also didn't like Zero, but I do like Steins Gate.
That's Chino.
That's not Cheeto.
That's Chino.
That's Christina and Tuturu. Those are their real names.
That's Rio Fukui.
That's not even a person.
That's a real person.
Like, you mispronounced the name. Yeah, I like Steins Gate. It's great. I still haven't read the visual novel yet, though. What do you think of Steins Gate?
It's all right. I mean, I think the Sybil system would be good to implement.
That's not Steins Gate.
Oh wait, it's not?
That's not Steins Gate. That's a Psychopath.
Oh yeah, that's true. I always get them mixed up. I haven't seen Steins Gate since I was like 12 years old. My dad likes it a lot.
Based.
Yeah.
Wales lol. No thanks. What do you think of Scottish nationalism?
Oh, we're gonna disagree on this.
It's kind of hard. I don't know. I don't like nationalism, like full stop. When I say that, I mean not from a cognitive, like philosophical perspective. Just like intuitively, I've never sort of understood the appeal of nationalism. That being said, I do understand the appeal of like self-determination, particularly when it comes to like freedom from an overarching or like an overreaching central government, like that the interests of the Scottish people don't necessarily mesh with the interests of London, which is kind of what Westminster serves. So like when it comes to like Scottish separatist movements, like I support them.
Why not just give the Scottish Parliament more autonomy? Like,
I mean, that's also not a bad step. I would support that too.
I mean, they did a compromise with the NHS. Part of why the Scottish NHS is so much better than the rest of the country is because it's more localized.
Well, I would love to see that spread around the rest of the country as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm in favor of more autonomy for the Celtic regions, including Cornwall. Everyone forgets it.
Yeah, the next U.S. state. I'm here to finish the job.
They're gonna make a land bridge to Jamaica.
They're gonna take the walk to Poland.
Yeah, and I guess that's my opinion.
Yeah,
but I don't like it when it gets all weird and nationalisty. I like it when it's talking about self-determination and independence from Westminster. That makes sense to me.
I support the union. Broadly speaking, I support the union. Yeah.
Also, I think it's a good argument based on Brexit. I don't think Scotland rejoining the EU would actually go well, but I can understand how frustrating it is if the majority of your country voted to stay in the EU and then you have to come out just because a bunch of other people who you don't even have anything to do with voted out. Like doesn't feel good to me.
They would just become a third world country though. Also, Scotland part of why I want them to have more independence is because they want to do drug consumption rooms there and drug
That's
decriminalization.
all you care about.
Like, I mean, yeah, but the S&P has been super based on these issues. They're saying we need decriminalization, we need safe consumption rooms, and then like
Mhm.
we need to legalize this and this and this, and like Westminster just isn't letting them. I don't know.
Yeah, that's based.
That's not based.
No, the drug consumption.
Oh
rooms
yeah,
are
yeah,
based.
yeah.
Diddy didn't understand Steins Gate. I do agree that Zero is really ugly though. Yeah, I tried to watch Zero. I went into it expecting to like it, but then I don't remember. It was a long time ago. I watched it when it was airing. It was like 3 episodes had come out, and I sat down and watched all three. And then at the end of it, I was like, "This is kind of tainting my Steins Gate perfect memories. I'm just gonna stop watching it."
Yeah.
Um,
Osaka has any British ancestry? I actually do. My grandmother on my dad's side, she was from Western Massachusetts, and addition to being Ashkenazi Jew, she was half British. Yeah.
Osaka has more British ancestry than me.
Yeah, and also my mom's family, like my mom is almost entirely Irish. And almost entirely Irish and Scottish. The one deviation is like a tiny amount of Cherokee Native American. So like out of all the ethnic groups I'm majority Irish.
There's a castle with my family name in Wales. That's very cool.
Yeah,
Fascism. Oh, we already read that.
yeah.
I think the best definitions of fascism come from Umberto Eco. I think most people
Yes,
agree with that.
I agree. Umberto Eco and Lenin, you kind of have to smish them together.
hmm No thanks. What do you think of Christopher Hitchens and Peter
I
Hitchens?
love them.
If you have thought anything about them at all. I haven't thought about them since I was an edgy atheist. I don't really know much about what they think other than they don't like religion.
I think God is not great is one of the best arguments against organized religion. Well, there's a lot of arguments in there, but I think that's a great book for like an entry into atheism.
Mhm.
Also, his debates. I think when Christopher Hitchens became like a neoconservative on like foreign policy issues, he had like some of the best arguments for like invading Iraq and so on. Not to say I agree with that, but he made some compelling points. Also, he was a big advocate for smoking cigarettes.
That's based.
That was he wrote a whole article about why he likes to drink and smoke. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that sounds cool. I've seen some of his debates when I was like a new atheist teenager, and he seemed smart.
Mhm.
But I don't know that much about him other than that.
Mhm.
What do you think about Kanye West being popular on poll? Funny, pathetic, sad? I think it's just kind of sad, yeah.
I think it's funny and sad.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's funny and sad.
I did a bunch of Zappa clone and then found myself agreeing with all the stuff Kanye said about the Jews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is apoliticism the answer? If not, which glowy group to join? You don't need to join a group.
Yeah.
I mean, the question is really, yeah, I guess depends how you define apoliticism. Like, since the argument can be made that like any action has the potential to be political.
Mhm.
So it's like I would say the sort of I wouldn't say participate, like not that I should really be giving advice on this. You should probably decide for yourself. But if I was to give advice, I would say like you don't need to join political groups. You don't need to be a card carrying member of Antifa or whatever you want to be. But like just try and build the world that you want to see. You know, like if you're like, I wish there wasn't so much tyranny, you know, or whatever.
The tyranny of
The
modern
tyranny of
medicine.
modern medicine. Then go get some friends together and form a friend group where that doesn't have any influence over
Yeah,
you.
form like a pharmaceutical co-op.
That's not quite what I was saying, but you know, do that if you want as well, or
Yeah.
don't. I don't know.
I want to say I think social policy is the only like venue through which we have any actual control that we can exercise. I think economic policy has long been sold from us, and so in that sense, apoliticism, I think, like it's large. It's I'm not going to say it's good. I just feel like we're all apolitical. We're just pretending not to be. But I think on like social policy, it is possible to advocate and agitate for changes in that regard. It's I just feel like our economic rights have been sold long ago.
I honestly I agree with Destiny here. If you're a conservative
Mhm.
and you're like take this and like generalize it, like if you're a conservative and you're like, oh, I'm not going to college or I'm not sending my kids to college because it's just all full of liberals, like that's the wrong thing to do. If the college is all full of liberals, then it needs more conservatives to go there to offer another voice.
Yeah.
Like that's the sort of thing that you can generalize out to actual like an ought statement of
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I think people should not be afraid to voice their opinions. That's why, like, when I'm like a vocal trans person on the internet, like, I'm not going to be afraid to say, like, the lobbying movement for trans rights has like an unprecedented amount of power in the media and is using it for, I would argue, like amoral or overtly like immoral means. Like I think there needs to be people saying more things like that. The way it's not about winning the culture war, it's about creating a larger diversity in thought. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't know about the trans stuff you said, but I think the general vibe is fair. Do you like Gundam at all? I really like War in the Pocket, and that's the only Gundam I've seen.
War in the Pocket is amazing. The movies are really good. It's like the good version of Star Wars. Oh, what is it? 088, I think that's the one. I like that one a lot. The one where it's like the OVAs where they're like in the Vietnam War is good, and Gundam Wing, if you want to watch a simultaneously really funny and like jovial kind of adventure series, go with that one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to get down to this
Or
one.
G Gundam. I got it mixed up with Gundam Wing, sorry.
I'm waiting to get down to this one.
Yeah.
The Steins Gate visual novel is great. Only the end that didn't feel too long. Interesting, but too short. I see. All right. I'll just let you cover this one. Abortion for women of color. What does it mean?
I think so. This guy has said a lot of Nazi shit throughout the stream, so I think it just means literally what they said.
Yeah.
They want abortion to be banned because of my religion or whatever, but then they want like brown people to have abortions because they want less of them. Like, I mean, this is kind of a weird.
I was gonna say it seems like you've already joined a glowy group, like maybe the most glowy group.
Yeah, like literal fads. Like, yeah, like you might as well just like sign up to join like the FSB by now or something. Like
then Zero came out, the character developed in a strange way. Like that wasn't. Yeah, I agree 100%. I agree. I don't really understand why people say that the way the characters act in Zero VN always made sense to me. IMO. I haven't read the VN, but I felt like that. Yeah, I agreed that I thought that the characters in the anime acted out of character. Is the UK America's poodle/pet? No, I don't necessarily think
I think so. Yeah, I think the United Kingdom is not in a literal sense a puppet state of the US, but it's pretty close. Like
I don't think so. I think that just like every other like Western or just like every other country, full stop. Maybe other than like ones allied closely with China. We just sort of copy everything you do, just like everyone. But
yeah.
I don't know how much
we're in there. You're in NATO though.
That's true.
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean we're a puppet state. I
well,
mean, look, the US does have a lot of power over the UK. That I'm not saying it doesn't, but I don't know if I think poodle/pet is maybe overstating it a little bit.
Boris Johnson was an American who became the prime minister and almost sold the NHS to America.
That's true, but the reason I say that the UK has more independence is mainly just because of the city of London and like the financial activity that goes on.
That is
like,
true.
Most other countries don't have that level of financial independence from America.
That's true. But like, if like the British government came out and like started saying like, oh yeah, we oppose the war in Ukraine, and like,
oh yeah, but they're obviously not going to do that. But
I mean, Jeremy Corbyn, like he said some pretty based stuff about Ukraine, and like part of the reason why he didn't arguably didn't become the prime minister in like what was it, the 2017 election
Something
with
like that.
Theresa May. Yeah, they came real close, and then the WhatsApp messages got leaked that like these labor functionaries within the party like diverted resources and money to like heavily pro-labor areas, so they lost certain swing elections that would have gave them the parliament like by the thinness of a hair, but they would have gotten into the they would have got the prime minister. And I feel like the reason those like party bosses diverted resources in that manner was because of like systemic corruption that exists in just about every Western nation, where the economic forces which are ultimately like loyal to Washington and their lackeys in foreign policy, in the areas
Oh,
of foreign
in terms of
policy.
foreign policy, then yeah, we are America's pet, just like everyone else.
I mean, there are people who are bucking that trend who we really don't like, in the
Yeah,
global
I mean,
south.
the people who like. What I mean is, when I say everyone else, I mean everyone, as in Western Europe.
Yeah,
like the people who America isn't actively trying to destabilize. You can't like honestly, being America's pet is the smartest thing we can be doing.
I mean, I don't know, like Germany with Olaf Scholz, like he was being kind of based on Ukraine at first, not, co-signing, like sending all these weapons and stuff to Ukraine. Like that was kind of based, like, but then, America came in and started yanking their chain a little bit and was like, come over
But
here.
that's the thing. It's not like you have another choice.
Yeah,
like,
they don't have another choice.
That's what I'm saying. We don't have another choice either. It's better to not complain.
Well, I don't know if Corbyn came in and started allying with the global
just
south.
close your eyes and let it happen.
Like, I mean, who knows what, like, all that British financial power, like backing the global south and China and Russia, that I feel like that would have been good.
I don't know, because what would have happened is they would have done just the same economic sanctions to the UK as they did to Russia.
Yeah,
I mean, and then the financial power would be gone in an instant.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I guess there's America's just.
It's because the dollar's the world's reserve currency. Like,
okay, imagine this: Bernie Sanders gets elected, and then Jeremy Corbyn and Jean-Luc Mélenchon in France, and they appoint the leaders of the IMF. It would have fixed everything.
Interesting.
It would have fixed everything. That's like I dreamed about. I like had so many wet dreams about this back when those guys. There was a chance for them to get elected.
We got a redacted message. What do you think of EU centralization? Good or bad? I think it's bad. n0saka thinks it's good.
I think, yeah, I'm pro European Federation.
Yeah, I'm kind of. I like free movement and free trade, but I don't like. I think the regulations that the EU imposes are generally good.
Yeah, like on workers' rights and stuff.
Yeah, and I mean even just simple stuff like regulating food production and all of this sort of thing to make sure everything's safe. Like I think that's generally good.
Yeah.
But I think that there are too much power in unelected officials in Brussels and stuff, and it's seems to only be getting less democratic as time goes by, which kind of like there's a kind of a play, like there's weird dynamics at play where on the one hand the EU is supposed to be sort of a check and balance on the powers of the individual European states, but then at the same time there's nothing to check them, and so they can sort of. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, I think they
like
do
that.
need...
You have to agree there's a lot of power in like unelected EU officials.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the fact that it's like a massive bureaucracy is bad, but I think. Unironically, I think making it a bigger bureaucracy might help.
This is your tanky brain still clinging on by a thread. Every example of shit going to fuck has been because of big bureaucracy with too much power.
Listen,
this is like the one lesson you're supposed to take from the 20th century is don't make big bureaucracy with too much power.
Listen, I eat meat, drive trucks, and shoot guns.
Let's move on. What do you think of the U.S. founding? Damn, good student. Really is a good student. Asking a bunch of questions.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the U.S. founding fathers? Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson in particular. I don't know shit. So
I think Alexander Hamilton was based, although I think oh fuck, what was his name? The founding father that advocated for UBI. Oh shit, can you look that up real quick just to find his name? Thomas Paine, that's his name. I remembered. I think Thomas Paine was the most based founding father because he basically advocated for like a socialist America before socialism was like really a thing. But Thomas Jefferson, I mean, he smoked a lot of weed and was an atheist and like impregnated black women. That's pretty cool. Shouts out. But like he was, I don't know, he did a lot of fucked up stuff. A lot of the founding fathers did like some pretty heinous and also overtly anti-democratic stuff. Like the founding of America was rooted in like a lot of political suppression, for example. And it like the way the Constitution was written was in like a like pretty overtly elitist manner that excluded like large portions of the citizenry from the political process, and that's not good. I don't know too much about Alexander Hamilton. My like surface level knowledge says he was pretty cool, but yeah, those are my thoughts.
What do you think of the Kuma meme?
I don't think it's real. I think they're trying to shame people for like a basic desire everyone has, except I guess ace people.
Yeah, I don't really pay any attention to it.
Yeah.
I think I'm yet to see any hard data supporting the assertions of Kumaism being bad.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, if you feel like you have a problem and it's causing you discomfort, like you don't like it, then do nofap or whatever. I don't know.
Mhm.
Westerners confuse religion entirely with Christianity / Islam. They think atheism means anti-religion. I mean, atheism means not religion. I don't know. This is a nonsense question. This doesn't make any sense. We're confused. Are you a pagan? Is that what you're saying? I'm confused.
Maybe he has some kind of like indigenous Russian religion or something. I don't know.
Mhm. I mean, that would be kind of base, to be
Like,
honest.
Maybe he's like a Tatar.
Eastern European paganism is really interesting and cool.
I agree.
Is Taiwan rightful Chinese clay? Oh God. No, but it is rightful Japanese clay.
I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut on this one. I'm just gonna.
Oh God, I didn't know you had this hot take. It is causing a lot of tension, but I don't know enough about.
Just kill him.
Okay, well, we're gonna move swiftly on.
We're gonna move swiftly on from that one.
Any tips on writing fiction? I need some too.
I need some.
Yeah, no, we're all fucked. Have you seen Goblin Slayer or Record of the Lodos War? They're both based on TTRPGs. Lodos War is actually based on a replay, a transcription of TV. I don't know that.
Lodos War is so good.
I hadn't even heard of it just now.
It's an older, old shit. That's why it's really good. There was a video game based on it too.
Oh, yeah. Nice. No, I haven't seen either of those. Have you? You've seen Lotus War?
Yeah, I saw the first episode of Goblin Slayer. It's trash, but
yeah,
is based.
I also thought that when there was a big controversy about Goblin Slayer, I was like, oh, let me check it out, and it was just really boring.
I made a video about it.
That's true.
Yeah.
What do you think of TTRPGs in general? Have you played them? I vaguely remember. Yeah, I've played D&D a couple times, but not seriously.
My dad tried to get me into D&D as a kid to quote unquote grow my imagination, and it didn't really work. I just thought it was boring boomer shit.
No, D&D is cool, but you just have to not play it with your dad. You need to play it with like your friends.
Yeah.
Or there's probably better. I'm sure TTRPG fags are gonna be like, oh, the D&D is actually like the shit. Play a better one, which is probably true, but
Mm-hmm.
I also, people kept mailing me to listen to this podcast called Friends at the Table, which is like a TTRPG podcast. And I listened to the first season and I thought it was okay. And then I kind of got bored.
Mm-hmm.
These are my opinions. Have you seen Cross Anja? Maybe? That sounds familiar.
Cross Ange? That sounds familiar.
Maybe. Let's Google the name. Is there a Mao? I don't think I have seen this, no. But this is probably on,
this show. I watched like the first episode of this a long ass time ago.
Well, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to watch Cross Orange. Heard it's funny. What do you think of 3D animation? Always be it. I don't
like
know.
It. I like it sometimes. I liked Kimono Friends.
Yeah, Kimono Friends is cool.
That other show the team
Land
did.
of the Lustrous.
Land of the Lustrous is good.
Kimono Kasai, the show they did before Kimono Friends. Yeah, that's good. Neither of them look particular. I mean, they have their own charm, but they're not like.
I think they look amazing.
I mean, I agree. I like the way they look, but they don't like Sakuga. You know, like.
Yeah, they don't need to be Ayumu Kasuga.
I agree.
Yeah, they also that other show Popey the Performer is really good. It looks like a PS1 game.
And the anime that no one knows, Hoshi no Umi no Amuri. That's a good 3D OVA.
Straight title robot anime.
Oh yeah, that's all of that guy, like Tasaguri Bukatsumono and good fairies. They're both that guy's great. I think there's a lot of uses for 3D, and not to mention like the Western 3D animation, like in Spider-Verse, Paperman, you know, these sorts of like.
There's a lot of Western 3D animation I don't like.
Yeah, I also like the guys that made Hotel Transylvania, like I really don't.
That's so bad, bro.
Yeah, it looks like shit.
Yeah.
I'm just LARPing with the Nazi rhetoric.
Me too.
Is base 12 a good number system or stay with base 10? Base 6. Seximo. Yes, I watch Jan Measley. What do you think of the IMF giving loans to countries in financial trouble, i.e. Argentina, Sri Lanka, in exchange for austerity measures? Would it be better if these countries were allowed to fail?
Well, I don't even think it's so much a matter of them being allowed to fail. I think by like being subsumed into the global financial system through these like coercive measures that ultimately violate the sovereignty of these nations, they are like systemically being made to fail. I think if we had a new international order based on something like
a new world order of some kind.
No,
maybe we need to, we need to get rid of this one first. So like some sort of great reset first, and then we can start a new world order. Is that what you're advocating?
None of this. The views and opinions.
Yeah, and if we had a one world government as well.
Well, you actually believe it. And I'm not going to comment on that this stream, but I will say if we had like multipolarity.
So cringe.
We'll get to it. If we had multipolarity where like there were alternative financial mechanisms by which these countries could assert their sovereignty without it like literally meaning failure, I think that's good. I really like what Russia is doing with BRICS.
Yeah, but the problem with BRICS is that this like multipolarity just creates tension. Like it basically, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm not. I like it. I like it, but I also don't like it. I don't know.
What I would say basically is like if Argentina or Sri Lanka were allowed to like nationalize a lot of their resources and then divert the money that they make from those resources to like infrastructure, social spending, things that would education, things that would raise the quality of life in their countries, they could be raised to a level where they could actually like rival some of these Western countries, which is what I want. I want the East to basically rise up and the global South to rise up.
Yeah, what we want is capitalism to work. We want actually effective competition.
Yeah. In a sense, yeah.
Are you happy with the way that things turned out in Afghanistan? I don't think anyone is. After the US left, is the blood of those who have died since on the hands of those who called for a US retreat? No.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like logic, like from a logic perspective, no. Like it's good. You got to cut your losses at some point. Yeah. You can't just say the US should have just colonized Afghanistan forever. Like they got to get out at some point. And
this is
it should have been sooner, but hey.
This is the really interesting thing. A lot of liberal pundits at the time were saying, oh, look what we had done for women's rights in Afghanistan by invading them and imposing like a corrupt
bullshit.
It's complete bullshit. And also, before
Afghanistan was one of the most liberal states in the Middle East and had excellent women's rights in the 70s and so on. Is that the point you're going to make?
Well, I was going to add a little bit more context to that. Afghanistan was a extremely progressive kingdom for much of its history. In fact, it was so progressive that the most popular political movement in Afghanistan against the monarchy was the communist movement. One that was so popular that it actually took over the existing government in Afghanistan with the help of the Soviet Union until a lot of these warlords, which were up in the hills and like the weird ass geography of Afghanistan, had massive amounts of money funneled into them from the United States and their lobbying fronts in Pakistan and Saudi Arabia, and even sent over a lot of militants from those respective countries. It destabilized it to such an extent. It created a situation where a lot of these longly held progressive values that Afghanistan had withered away in the wake of this destabilization. And so ultimately, I don't think the US should have occupied Afghanistan forever to ensure progressivism. It should have left it the fuck alone when the Soviets were there. And you know, they would have been able to, I think, ensure some form of stability, some form of women's rights, and so on.
Yeah, I
yeah.
pretty much agree with everything you just said.
Also, they were like way better on those issues when the Soviets were there than when the liberal takeover happened. And people often don't mention this.
Who will you vote for in the next election? Hard mode, you can't say Kanye.
Joe Biden.
Yeah, I who knows when or who will be running in the next UK general election? So I can't even comment on that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna vote Democrat down the line.
I will just look for whatever candidates support UBI and vote for them.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried writing a novel?
Multiple times and failed.
No, I have never tried. Germany and France both vied for a different approach to Ukraine, but ultimately US and UK. This is like one of those old IM game streams where we're like 10 hours behind the chat. Both vied for a different approach for Ukraine, but ultimately US and UK got their way. Yeah, well, it's just that's money is power, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want a multipolar world where different parts of the world are controlled by different powers? I want a world so multipolar that I like with actual. You ever heard of this thing called sovereignty? Like countries can actually control their own destinies. No, this is not what you want.
Well, oh, okay. I think working with Russia and China is in the short term a way to get there.
I don't know about that. I think they just want hegemony as much as the US does.
I agree, but like if a country like Bolivia, for example, they work with Russia, they work with China. Cuba works with Russia and China. These are not countries that generally support the policies of either of those countries, but because they oppose the United States, in the short term, they're able to guarantee like some economic stability and help. Because
yeah, but in the long term, they're beholden to the whims of their allies who are going to basically.
That's why they develop to a point where they no longer need them.
Yeah, but we've just been talking about how European countries are beholden to the US on pretty much every matter, especially foreign policy, just for the same reasons. Like
that's because they fucked up strategically.
Yeah, I would have done better if I was in charge of Germany.
100%.
You know, there was a guy who thought that once in the 1940s. You know, he did a pretty bad job.
Pretty good job.
No, he did a bad job.
He did a pretty good job.
He fucked up. Do you want a multi? Oh, we already talked about. Yeah, exactly. This. Ha ha ha. Why does China still have COVID restrictions?
I have no idea.
Because it's a way of exercising control over their population.
Yeah, I guess.
Hold on. It just like snapped me to the bottom. Thoughts on Kanye's smiley face?
Music is good.
I think I like Jesus. That's about it.
I like almost all of his music. He's one of my favorite artists.
Why are you on Twitter? I'm not really on Twitter anymore. I haven't used Twitter in like a week.
Twitter's fun.
I check it like the only time I check Twitter now is if I'm like in a voice call with someone and I don't have anything else to do with my hands, so I just sort of scroll because I just need to do something while I'm in a voice call. That's about it. Is centralization inevitable? Or on the contrary, decentralization is inevitable.
Yeah.
It's called entropy. Do we need banking or central banking? That's kind of a weird question.
I mean, I don't think we even necessarily need banking if we had like a resource-based economy, for example, where like if things were organized on small direct democratic lines and like everyone participated in like growing food and like the cultivation.
See, when I said that, you called me an anprim. When I said people should grow their own food sometimes, you were like, you fucking...
No, that's how you get out of the banking system.
Right.
Yeah, but also, Because we live in a world where states exist, I think if we're talking about like a banking system, if we're going to have one instead of my like direct democratic small community solution, it should be one where the state owns all the banks. I think 100%, like you look at Cuba, look at Iran, these have nationalized banking. And during the financial crisis, it was like greatly beneficial to them for growth and stuff. Even like a country like Russia, where they don't have fully nationalized banking, but like the state has a heavy hand in it. China as well. They were able to overcome a lot of the burdens that were faced in 2008 by Western nations.
I support Islamic banking systems.
That's Iran.
Yeah, Iran
Yeah.
has it. Yeah, a lot of those countries have similar things, but Iran has a more like nationalized version of it. I think
It just is nationalized.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I support 100% reserve banking. Religion. Oh, I see what you're getting at here. You're saying that like you can be religious without, or you can be a theist without necessarily subscribing to any particular religion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm also not a theist. I'm not religious or a theist.
Mhm.
No, I am religious, but I'm not a theist. My religion is anime titties.
Abolish all police, religion, private property.
Okay,
We've
you
done
love
it before,
slogans.
but united we can stand or
What
something. I don't
what
know.
do you think of prostitution? Would you or have you hired one?
No, I haven't, and I never will.
Same. I agree.
What do we think of it though?
I asked you to look up statistics on whether like legalized prostitution reduces sexual violence, and you
I
never
forgot.
did.
Yeah.
If there was statistics that showed that was the case, then I think they should. Then I think it should be legal.
I mean, I think it's also just a women's autonomy issue. People should be allowed
I mean,
to do whatever they want with their bodies.
I there's a counter argument to be made about like how much autonomy should people have if it is about participating in an oppressive system.
Mhm.
Like,
Well,
I don't know. I'll go get that. You
Yeah.
you entertain it.
I'll talk about prostitution. Hopefully, it's not the glowies coming for me. Yeah. So basically, legalize it, but like reduce the methods of economic coercion by which women and like other marginalized groups or just all groups are kind of subjugated in our current economy. That would be good. If like you go to the prostitution worker cooperative or whatever, then it's like the people who work there are probably working there because they like doing it, which is very few people in the world, right? But that would be much better than like than what we currently have going for us in countries where prostitution is legalized. Because the people who are in that line of work likely are there because of coercive economic institutions. I don't know. I guess I'll just keep reading the chat while Noah's gone. Have you heard of Rucka Rucka Ali's music? He came out as a Randian objectivist. Speaking of which, what do you think of egoism? Now, I can't answer for Noah while he's not here, but I haven't listened to Rucka Rucka Ali since I was like a kid. I thought it was funny when he interviewed Noam Chomsky. That was cool. As for what I think of egoism, I am an egoist. I think self-interest literally motivates all behavior. All of our behavior is motivated by self-interest, not rational self-interest. So I'm not like a Randian objectivist because I think humans are largely irrational by nature. But the things that we do, even if we're unaware of it, are motivated by some sense of self-interest. It's just that sense is often misplaced. And obviously, I'm a moral anti-realist, so I don't believe in morality being real. I think like the closest thing we have to something that like we could broadly refer to as like real morality, it would be self-interest. Thoughts on Burzum? Burzum is incredible. OSR and D&D is cool? Maybe, I don't know. Whoa, says Drunken Ninja. Hi, welcome to the stream, Drunken Ninja. Also, hello to Avir Senso. Were the Asterisk War and Sword Art Online really that bad? Was the Twilight Saga really that bad? Sword Art Online was that bad. I do think so. The first episode was really good. I think it was like one of the better openers for an anime. Questions about egoism and verism in anime.
All right.
Yeah.
Egoism, cool. Verism, cool. Anime, cool.
Yeah. We did it. Asterisk War was that bad though.
Yeah, Asterisk War sucks.
Yeah.
Someone should make a video about that.
Someone should make a lot. Of
Someone should
videos
make
about
like 12 hours of videos about that.
Yeah.
If you want to watch Asterisk War, just watch Chivalry of a Failed Knight. It's the same show but good.
My opinion on the Twilight Saga is that it's hot.
Where were we?
A Trigun.
The new Trigon 3D animation looks pretty great.
I haven't
seen it either. Have you tried drawing anime art? How did it go? Yeah, I do it all the time.
I failed miserably.
I like the look of like badly drawn anime girls, which is convenient because that's all I can draw.
Are the globalists right? Which ones?
Osaka agrees. Osaka's a hardcore globalist.
Well, I'm an internationalist. That's not exactly the same thing.
Which one? The Fourth International?
I'm not a Posadist.
No, thank you. Looks like I don't even. What is this? Kriparian?
I don't know who that is. Look him up.
Kriparian.
I don't believe in cops, bosses, or politicians.
Who is this guy?
Some call that.
I don't look anything like this. What
you
do
do not
talking
look
about?
like that. Is this like a game influencer study? What?
He's a gamer, I guess.
I guess he's a gamer. You look-
Romanian Canadian Twitch streamer. Huh.
Ugh,
No, I
Canada.
don't think I look anything like that. Maybe my hair. I don't know.
Blame Canada.
Always blame Canada. Should
Oh.
Japan change its constitution to remove the peace clause and get a real military rather than a self-defense force? Should I think no and no.
I'm pro nuclear proliferation.
I think Japan having nukes wouldn't be that bad. Like I trust the Japanese to be responsible with nukes, but I like the idea of self-defense forces. I think it should be the opposite. Rather than Japan getting a real military, every country should just have a self-defense force.
See, this is the thing. If we don't live in the nuclear age and in a heavily militarized world, I would say that these things about Japan make it like it should just everyone should have it. Like everyone should ban nuclear weapons, and if everyone doesn't ban them, I think everyone should have them.
Remember when you said you weren't a Posadist?
That's not Posadism.
I know nukes. I'm trying to make a joke.
I see. I'm autistic.
A self-defense force is a real true. Should the Islamic State have been left alone by the West?
The Islamic State was created by the West.
Yeah, I think. I don't like the sort of America world police logic. Like I don't think it's America's job to go into the Middle East and start wars.
Well, this is the thing, right? There was this bizarre dynamic playing out where like the Pentagon was fighting ISIS at the same time the CIA and Israel were funding them. And there was actually an internal conflict between those two groups. The weird thing is Iran and Russia were like asking us, hey, and Syria was asking us, hey, we want to help you fight ISIS. Let's go do it. We're all for the war on terrorism. Let's go. And America said no. We were just like, yeah, fuck you. We're going to go it alone and also fund these guys at the same time we're fighting them. It's like, what? That doesn't make any sense. I think they were created by the economic destabilization that occurred in the wake of the Iraq and Afghanistan wars, and also by the direct funding of them and other peripheral auxiliary like jihadist groups that we've historically been backing, as well as our subsidization of Saudi Arabia. Like the fact that like we support in multiple ways, we give political and institutional support to the largest Sunni Wahhabist government in the world that is objectively funding a lot of these groups as well. Like that can't be good. And so it's not so much a matter of should the West have left ISIS alone. Of course we should have been fighting ISIS. Like these are like a, morally heinous group of people. The problem is we should have been fighting them with the help of all of these groups in the Muslim and like European and Asian world where we who wanted to fight them with us, but we just like said no, we're not geopolitically aligned with you, not economically aligned with you, so fuck you. Like it's basically our policy is all backwards, and it created a situation where they could come to be in the first place.
Was Rhodesia/Zimbabwe better off under white minority rule? What about South Africa? I don't think South Africa was better off under white minority rule. Zimbabwe, maybe, maybe. Who can say?
I mean, I'm not a fan of Robert Mugabe because I feel like he was just like an opportunistic person who
I mean, you don't have to ask me. You can ask the Zimbabwean people who have like it's widely popular in Zimbabwe to beg the British to take him back. Like it's not even like a small movement. Like and you can argue that's like we fucked him up or whatever, and we probably did. But also, like, I mean, you gotta listen to these people what they're saying. Like, it's not a small movement. It's like a large portion of the population of Zimbabwe want the British back.
Yeah, I don't think South Africa was better off at all.
No, I don't either. I don't think they were better off at all.
Was the Soviet Union a force for good? Yes.
No.
Why do you disagree?
I don't know.
So
I don't think they. No, I don't think they were a force for good. I mean, they did a. I don't think they were a force for good as much as I also don't think America was a force for good at the same time or to this day. Like, I just think the like any sort of global geopolitical superpowers, that sort of imbalance in like the power of nations and the influence of nations, and I mean, it's just never good. And also, and I'm not even mentioning all the fucked up shit the Soviets did, which is a lot. It's a long list.
I don't agree with the fucked up shit the Soviets did domestically or in the countries that they had political influence over. Like that's I was about to say objectively bad. That's bad, right? But it's undeniable that after 1991, all of these radical social democratic parties, like the French Socialist Party and the Social Democrats in Sweden and so forth, the labor unions, all of these left-wing groups that weren't communists, but they were left-wing groups, they immediately like dissipated and deteriorated into almost nothing. And what was left in their wake was like New Labor and like Bill Clinton's Democratic Party. Like
the thing is, we're already recovering from that, right? Like in America, there's a sort of new union movement that's sort of happening. Like unions are gaining strength in America. They're gaining strength. I mean, here, not to mention like the strikes that have been going on with the RMT, with Royal Mail, and all of these strikes. Like unions are regaining some of their power, and I think they're only going to get stronger.
Yeah, but we wouldn't have seen like global neoliberalism like to the extent that we have if the Soviet Union stayed around and kept supporting those groups.
At what cost? Like,
I mean, I feel like if I lived in that kind of society and I wasn't allowed to say the N-word or whatever, like, but I also had the freedom to not be homeless. Like, I feel like that's like not that bad of a trade-off. Like, obviously, I should be allowed to say the N-word.
You wouldn't be able to be a NEET.
I mean, they had disabled people there.
That's true, but would they have recognized your disability? I don't know.
I think if they persisted into like the 2000s, I think they would have eventually. The Soviet psychiatry system was kind of crippled by state policy, but that could have changed. I mean, the thing at Perestroika, like
Perestroika
and Glasnost were good things in principle. It's just that they weren't applied well. Like,
interesting.
I think Soviet reform was possible. There were alternatives that existed. It's just that the Soviet system wasn't quick enough to change, and they didn't change in the right ways to create more accountability.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like, I don't know. I'm never gonna compete with you on Soviet knowledge, so
yeah.
Two black people discussing politics is so based. Is that us? I don't know what's going
I
on.
don't know what's going on.
Wouldn't a multipolar world lead to a World War One like scenario? What was the cause of the First World War? Does nationalism lead to imperialism? Is imperialism inevitable? No, I definitely don't think that just like, well, okay, maybe your type of multipolar world with like the West versus the East and the global South kind of deal would lead to a World War One like scenario. I think that's quite possible. But my version, I don't think so at all, because of they wouldn't be economically competing in the same way. It would be too unprofitable to go to war because everyone would be so economically interlinked. You're really into this idea, I think, right?
Yeah.
Like, which you can argue that with like Russia, that's kind of been proven not to work. But it's, I don't know. What are you smiling about? What's going on?
I don't know about Russia and proven not to work. I don't know how much I'll comment on it though right now.
I see. Well, I don't know. I think I mean, it's definitely a risk. I agree. I think it's possible.
We love Russia here.
What was the cause of the First World War, n0saka?
I think it was two main things. It was a bunch of treaties that, like, after the powder keg, like, this is the standard narrative, right? Like, the powder keg and like the fucking shooting, the
Franz
Soviet
Ferdinand.
getting Franz Ferdinand getting shot. Like a bunch of treaties basically got set off to where like everyone was forced against each other. Also, capitalism. It like if is imperialism inevitable is part of your question. Well, I think it certainly is under capitalism.
Lenin moment.
Because capitalism always has the desire to expand, and so there was like growth, like they could only grow so much in the time of peace that they were in, and so they needed to they needed to do economic and military imperialism expansion in order to grow their economies. Yeah, so I think that was the cause. It was mainly economic factors.
Thoughts on the YouTube channel Ohojo-sama? I don't know this.
I don't know who that is.
When next album? I'm
Tomorrow.
working on it. No, not tomorrow. I'm working on it though. Not just the next album, but like 3 albums. I'm working on it. Have you seen Artificial Night Sky / Pars's YouTube channel? Yes, we both have, I think, right?
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He has some nice videos on Dirgy Dunper, a nice blog too. I didn't know he had a blog, but yeah, we both know Artificial Night Sky.
But don't see him talking much with you guys. Yeah, he's literally terrified of me because he like idealized me in my videos for like a long ass time. And then I tried to become friends with him and he just refused to talk to me because he said the friendship would be like coercive or something because of how big of a fan of me he used to be.
Interesting.
And, yeah, which is like, I don't know, I'm just a person. You can talk to me anytime.
I've never talked to the guy. Would a return to feudalism be an improvement?
I know your opinion.
Obviously, it's not possible, but I don't think it would be an improvement. No.
Don't lie.
This has never been my opinion.
Don't lie.
My opinion is only that we are returning to feudalism, whether we like it or not.
Oh,
and you gotta roll with the punches sometimes in life. Would it be an improvement? I mean, no, it would just change the way things are fucked up.
I think the feudal lord and serf
live
significantly less alienated lives than the modern
I never even
worker.
said. You just made this up. This is a quote. This is supposedly a quote from me that I never said.
You literally said something almost exactly.
No, I said they worked less. That's all I said. Serfs worked less.
They worked less and they got drunk all the time.
It's true.
Imagine
it's objectively true.
Imagine if we could get drunk all the time at work today. It would fix everything.
It would fix everything. You're just like, imagine if we could do heroin all the time or what. I mean, it's no different. Anyway.
It's not my fault that when I worked at a shipyard, I had to
inject that's not you. That's just a story that someone else told. Hamilton said that. It wasn't even you. Anyway. So feudalism, if somehow we could redo feudalism with modern agricultural knowledge, it would. What's that? What's modern? What's that?
I'm just a little surprised to hear you say something positive about modernity.
Oh my god, please stop. I'm like Zizek. I'm just like scratching my nose all the time. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, with like the main problem of feudalism, in my opinion, wasn't the government organizational structure. It wasn't any of that. It was that they didn't fucking know how to farm properly. They got dog shit yields, okay? So they had to be working in these fields like all day, every day, hard at work. And even then they work less than us. But like, well, us, we don't work, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like they work they got, you don't understand how dog shit their yields were. Like they grew these grains, they didn't know what they were doing, they didn't understand anything, they didn't understand like soil nutrition. They were stupid. Only towards the end, the Dutch started figuring out cover crops. Like it took them that long. It took them like 1,000 years to figure out cover crops. It was insane. Over like 1,500 years, I think, from agriculture to realize, hey, hold on a minute, cover crops exist. It was retarded. But nowadays, our yields are like, to a medieval person, fucking insane. We get like 17 times more grain per acre than they did in the medieval times. Like that's an insane. So we would have to work like an hour a day. Plus, we have potatoes. I mean, they didn't get that till the late medieval period, and potatoes are amazing. And we know not to only grow one variety of potatoes, so you don't get a potato blight. Like, yeah, if we could redo it right now and go back, it would be pog, but we can't, and it's not necessarily desirable either.
Mhm.
Is Satan real? No.
I think Satan is
That's
called the United States of
okay.
America.
I'm still working on the Denver
Wait,
Tube
you don't
Mega
think?
Mix.
Wait, you don't think America's satanic?
Why are you saying that like it's an obvious thing?
I mean, it's so obvious. Look at what we've done to the global South and the Middle East. Like
No, America is not satanic.
it-
America is more like God, like Yahweh, because Satan rebelled. That's the whole thing.
We
but
rebelled against
no.
the British.
Well, I guess no, you didn't rebel against the British.
The British literally modernized half of the world. Like
the so-called War of Independence was actually just a war between the two parties in the British government. It was just the Whigs against the Tories. Like there wasn't actually a War of Independence at all.
I mean,
anyway,
yeah, but like American independence has been just like almost like entirely bad for the entire world. No.
Yeah, we should have it back. As what I've been saying.
And that's what I've been saying.
We've all been saying this.
Yeah.
I'm still working on the Denver Tube Mega Mix video that I mentioned in one of your recent streams. Would you be down to film a reaction to it? Hell yeah, I would. Any thoughts on ancient Rome? Any thoughts about Caesar in particular? Is there such a thing as Western civilization?
Caesar was a populist who fought for the proletarians. Read Michael Parenti's book about Julius Caesar.
Ancient Rome, the so-called Roman Empire never existed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm joking, but I saw a weird video about that the other day that I think was stupid. Mm-hmm. I don't really have any thoughts about it. They were probably, they were doing this stuff. Do you care about where you're from? Should people care about that? Maybe.
I care about where I'm from, but I don't think I should. That's my like schizo take.
I don't care about where I'm from, except for like I like the NHS and I think we have good trains. We're not that good, but they should be better. But we invented trains, and that's pretty cool.
You said this morning that I'm more nationalistic.
You're so nationalistic.
How?
Like compared to I think it's because you live in America, you don't think you're nationalistic, but your standards of nationalism in America is so high.
Yeah.
That it's just insane to the rest of the world.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you would literally get suspended in my school if you didn't do the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag every morning.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the beard that gives you the anthem look. True. What do you think of antinatalists? I sort of am an antinatalist.
I kind of want to just have as many kids as possible.
I see.
Like, I feel like, I don't know, it would be interesting to see my genes spread in that kind of way and see like what kind of people it would make.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good reason to have kids.
I don't know. I mean, if I go to like a country with people who are economically destitute and I offer like a better life for a woman there, and then I have...
Okay, let's move on. Do you like NATO?
No.
You love NATO.
I do not
you
like
love
NATO. Where did you get this idea?
What vape? Lemon. It's lemon. I don't like any of the sweet flavors, so it's like a non-sweet, just sour lemon.
NATO is an imperialist organization.
That's why you love them.
That destabilized.
If Russia
Balkans.
was a member of NATO, you would love them.
No, I don't like Russia.
If there was a Russian-Chinese version of NATO, which maybe there is, I don't know, there probably isn't. But if there was, You would love it.
No.
Yes, you would. You 100% would.
No.
You're like, oh, China's not doing neocolonialism in Africa. They're just offering economic support.
They're doing neocolonialism in Africa. What do you mean?
Should Israel be a Jewish state? No,
It shouldn't be
it shouldn't
a
a
state.
state. It should abolish Israel.
Yeah.
Um,
Abolish all states.
Well, yeah, but
particularly that.
open borders for Israel. I unironically support this. Free Palestine. What do you think of the gig economy? Should it be cracked down on?
Yes.
No.
Wait, really?
No, I'm joking. I just said that to be Yeah, obviously it's bad.
Yeah.
0 hours contracts too. I don't know if you guys have those in the US, but they're a big problem here.
Yeah.
What boards do you browse? These days, pretty much that's about it.
I don't go on any of them.
Um,
Shauna had it coming, question mark. I'm not gonna answer that one.
Would Hong Kong have been better off under British rule? Would the world be better off under British hegemony than US hegemony? That's a tough question. I think would Hong Kong be better? I think Hong Kong should just be an independent country.
I think it should be an independent country as well, but if we're talking about this in terms of like a British versus Chinese dichotomy, I think the majority of Hong Kong's problems come from antiquated British era laws that stifle growth and social mobility that would be upended if China had more control over the country.
You're still a tanky.
No.
This has been an enlightening stream. You were like the Soviet Union was a massive force for good. You said the Holodomor never happened. China should own Taiwan. Taiwan isn't a country. It should be owned by China. Hong Kong isn't a country. It should be owned by China. You're still a tanky.
Wait, let me be clear. Holodomor happened. It was just the majority of it was caused by monsoons and adverse weather conditions and conditions created by the United States in the wake of them.
Look, the Zyklon B was just for delousing. Okay, it was just for delousing. That's how you sound.
Read Fraud, Famine, and Fascism. It's a really good book. Anyway,
read the Gulag Archipelago. Read the Bell Curve.
Okay. But yeah, okay, so I think Hong Kong should be an independent country, unlike what my friend over here to the left is saying of me. But because
maybe you should be the friend to the left since you're the communist.
Yeah, I guess I am a communist. Fuck it, I have to be honest with myself. But like, yeah, but would British hegemony be better than US hegemony? No. It's a really hard thing. I feel like it would be a little bit better, but not that much. I think they're basically the same thing. Like,
yeah, I don't think it really makes that much of a difference.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like our countries are generally pretty similar. It's just we spell things differently and talk like slightly different.
I think that's not true. I think there's more.
American optimism is like annoying.
But the only thing I can think of that like British hegemony would be better at is there would be, I mean, just at home, we'd probably be richer here, probably have a better economy, but also without American hegemony, there'd be less pressure to sell the NHS off to American companies, which would be POG for us. And there might be pressure on other states to start an NHS, which would also be POG.
Yeah. I think America should have a parliamentary system.
I think America should have PMQs.
Yes.
President's question time.
President's question time. I agree 100%.
Do we need violent revolution?
Yes.
I don't think it ever achieves anything.
I think it has achieved things.
I don't know. I don't think the question is, do we need violent revolution? I don't think we need violent revolution. No.
Well, I don't think we need it per se, but I think it's a good last resort if peaceful reform doesn't work. And I think oftentimes peaceful reform doesn't work.
I think the vast majority of revolutions either fail in the get-go or they just end up instituting either like some authoritarian or something that is just like worse than what came before or just as bad as what came before. Like there's very, very few revolutions that end up with something that's actually better than there was before, and it stays around for more than 3 years.
Revolution in Chiapas,
very few. There's very few. I said there's a couple.
There's a couple,
but there's very few. No, I don't think that's enough. I mean, revolution is a very, very, very big gamble. My point.
I agree. That's why I say it should be a last resort.
Okay, that's maybe understandable.
Is being a tanky a LARP? Yes. I don't know why people are tankies.
You don't? You really
No.
you don't know why you're a tanky?
I'm not a tanky.
Okay.
You seem to love this idea.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm learning a lot about your position right now. Do we need the United Nations? What does the United Nations do?
I mean, largely what they do is like symbolic decision making. Like
Yeah.
they don't really enforce things that have like real bearings on the world unless it's a policy that the US supports. And whenever they make decisions regarding the US or Israel, they don't get enforced. So I think the UN needs a lot more power. And then they might
I disagree.
they might have the ability to enforce their decisions a little bit more. Also, the Security
The only
Council,
reason the UN is like it seems to make good decisions is because they don't have any power.
I think the Security Council is a huge problem because Russia's on there, and Saudi Arabia is on there. Like, yeah, it needs to be less hierarchical for certain, and also it needs to have more power. That's basically my thing.
Should Cyprus be fully under Turkish rule? I'm not going
No.
to touch this. I'm not going to
No,
touch this
I don't
one.
think so. I don't even
I don't
think
know enough about the situation.
I don't even think Turkey should be under Turkish rule. I think like Turkey should be like 4 different countries. There's this huge region in Turkey that's historically Kurdish land.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's true. I know that.
yeah.
Turkey's a nice place. Is caring about politics a LARP? It depends what you mean by LARP, I guess. I feel like since it affects everyone's sort of daily life, it's probably worth caring about.
It depends on who you're talking about too.
That's true.
Yeah.
Do you accept the label of n0saka on some of your music? I made a song called "I'm Not Incel." I've never been an incel. I'm not an. I don't know where this comes from.
I've never been an incel either.
You hella were an incel.
No,
I don't know what you're talking
I
about.
literally had a girlfriend when I made that video, though.
Interesting.
I made a video called "Why You Don't Need Sex" with 2 girlfriends. I had 2 girlfriends at the time.
Yeah, but you weren't having any sex, so it's
Well,
still
we
an
weren't.
incel.
Not yet. No. Well, the thing is, I could have fucked her when I was in the same city as her. Then I just told her no.
Interesting.
Well,
Well,
but I thought she was too young.
if you look, I wouldn't call my music incel-core. I don't think there's anything incel-core about it, really. But
Yeah, I literally wanted to wait until we were older. I feel like that's perfectly reasonable.
Yo, what up, Charbuck? What up, Charizard?
Charizard.
2 schizos, 1 room.
True.
What's it like being a Mac user in pro open source? Oh, it sucks. It sucks. What's your favorite Windows version? It's probably 7.
XP.
Hello, Kenon. Kenon. I don't know.
I don't
Do
know.
incels exist? I mean, couldn't they just go to a sex worker? And so doesn't it mean that it's voluntary?
Yes. Also, even if sex workers like didn't exist in a hypothetical version of the world, all incels need to do is date trans women, or because trans women are desperate, or
I didn't listen. These are words coming out of this guy's mouth. Okay,
this guy. Okay.
a guy is a gender neutral term when I use it.
Okay. Also, if they just worked on their personality and I don't know,
Just be yourself.
and I don't know, became a little bit less misogynistic, they could probably get
That's
a
true.
girlfriend.
But I think I don't know. I have a lot of sympathy for incels. Like I feel like they're generally victims of society sort of leaving them behind. They're generally like autistic or otherwise neurodivergent. Like
I agree.
I have a lot of sympathy for
And
them.
also, I think dating apps make it like 100% worse
agree.
because women have all the power in that.
Yeah, I agree that dating apps aren't good for incels.
Another component to this too, I want to say, is that incels have become the new boogeyman from the establishment
That's so
media.
true.
I think I was labeled as one by the Canadian government, and because of that, they had like 10 cops wrecking my shit.
Yeah.
The new boogeyman, it's not black people, it's not civil rights advocates or trans advocates. It's young autistic white males.
Yeah, I agree.
And
I think this is a part.
If you are,
that's me. I'm
yeah.
a young autistic white man.
If you are a young
Right.
autistic white male, you should 100% buy a gun.
Okay,
if you live
hold
in
on,
a country,
calm down.
If you
You
live
can't be saying that in this country. If you live in a country where it's legal, buy a
if you
gun.
live in a country where it's legal, buy a gun and get security cameras at your house.
Sure. Feudal world took 1,000 years to get decent agriculture because their system constrained their imagination. That's just objectively not true. I don't know what you're talking about, Tama. I don't know why you would say that. This is such a Tarbuckism, man. It's just not true. There were loads and loads of incredible inventions invented during the feudal era. Across the world, like it's not just feudal Europe, but like feudal Japan, the Islamic world they had a version of feudalism down there. They were doing fine. The Romans, basically, the feudal system in Western Europe was just a descendant of the Roman system, the villa system from Rome. And are you saying that the Romans never made any agricultural advances? This is just nonsense. I'm not gonna. Osaka, what do you think of British teeth so far?
They're a lot less white than teeth in America.
True. Teeth aren't supposed to be white.
Yes, they are. Like people. Oh.
Chill. Tarvak, what was this system? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, Osaka, the Warsaw Pact shill.
I'm not a Warsaw Pact shill.
You probably are.
No.
Is it a problem that the birth rates are so low in the West and Far East?
Yes.
And dropping in the South too? What do you think the cause is?
Wait, do you want me to answer?
I don't know. I'm interested to hear what you think the cause is.
I think microplastics is a big cause. In like spermageddon type shit. Not exactly, but also I think people are just talking to each other less. Like you go to Thanksgiving dinner in the United States and like everyone is disagreeing with each other politically. They're so like radically politicized. Like I feel like we need to tone the conversation down a little bit and all start talking to each other again and go outside. Like I don't go outside, talk to people, you know, like
I refuse.
I have some value in your family, like family values. I feel like those things would help a lot. Like we live in a profoundly alienated society because of the internet.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing, and I'm glad the birth rates are down.
Well, the thing is, the way we use the internet is to connect with other people.
No, I
like
don't.
I'm right here.
I only talk to like you and Dotsmate, and both of you are in the real world right now. I use the internet to learn chess and magic tricks.
I mean, those are things that you can connect with other people over, though. It's not just to like infinitely scroll TikToks with like people who agree.
I don't think normies should have ever had access to the internet.
Radical gender.
I think you should have to pass an IQ test to be able to get access to the internet.
That might be bad for me.
Maybe me too, actually. Violence is necessary to any change. No bodies of power are weakened without equal to the force they export. I think I see what you're saying. I think that's probably true.
I mean, that's why like the Black Panthers were based. They would carry guns into City Hall and show like we have the power to defend ourselves as a ethnic and political group.
Yeah. Oh, Anthemic Lullaby is here. So you think my video about the Holodomor was wrong, Lily? You never told me that. I missed that part on stream.
I mean, I think you made a very compelling video that is like, okay, how do I put this? It's more, how do I put this? It's like, I wouldn't say it's entirely wrong. I feel like it's like half and half. Well, look at this.
Osaka, was Lysenkoism U.S. propaganda?
No.
What do you think of the movie The Death of Stalin?
The Death of Stalin is a great movie. Also, Lysenkoism was not U.S. propaganda. It was a totally real thing, and not only did it cause like major fuck-ups in the USSR, it was even worse in China. In China, they tried implementing it, and it just like fucked everything up.
Is this the agriculture shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fucked. But they did do some interesting stuff. But most of it was shit.
Yeah,
they did make some important discoveries.
Yeah.
Have you seen All About Lily Shushu?
Yo, that's me.
It's an amazing movie. I love that film.
Yeah. And I can't watch it though because it's triggering for me to watch.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Love Exposure, also amazing. Have you seen Love Exposure?
No, it's too long.
It's really good. I love it.
Can you consider the U.S. as separate from the U.S. government and policies? Wouldn't such a culture and people inevitably lead to the policies the U.S. has? No, because the U.S. is not a democracy. The fact that
I disagree. I think the U.S. is all too democratic, and the problem is it's too damn big. You've got these. It's too big, and land does not equal people, and yet there's this fucked up, like,
It's an anti-democratic system that we have, though.
No, but do you think? Okay, so like even when you count like you make maps that account for the dumb gerrymandering that is how people vote.
It's not just gerrymandering; it's
or
the Senate.
Whatever.
Wyoming
right?
has 2 senators. There's 500,000 people who live there.
Right, but so all of that stuff that's designed to like fuck people, right?
Mhm.
You account for all of it,
Uh-huh.
and still, when you see these maps, the votes shift to Democrat, but they're
Mhm.
still not like landslide Democrat.
No,
It's
it doesn't
still
have to be.
but it's still a very divided country, even like just objectively speaking, regardless
Just
of how.
kill him. Or well, fuck! I didn't say that. Fuck!
You can't just kill him.
I didn't say that. I
You
didn't
can't just kill him. You're not allowed.
redact that.
Hard
Wait.
mode. You're not allowed to kill him.
Fuck! I didn't mean to say that out loud. Fuck. Make another country.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, like why?
Split it in half at least. You know what we need to be talking about? We need to be talking about the. Sorry, I need to get loud. I'm getting loud. We need to be talking about the peaceful dissolution of the United States into its constituent parts. Okay, we need to be talking about that.
Okay. I just want to say real quick. Maybe not that, because if we had like a Democratic majority, maybe not a huge one, but if we had one, we could, I think, hypothetically, like just like pull the fucking hillbillies to civilization.
Hillbillies aren't even that like the actual hillbillies are fairly left wing.
I
Supposedly.
grew up around these people.
I've heard that they are. Maybe I'm wrong.
on economic issues.
Yeah, on economic issues.
But abortion and stuff,
Who
it's
cares
like
about that?
the thing. Well, but okay, I feel like we would have the capacity to just fucking yank them to civilization if the government had more power in that regard.
You're a tanky.
I'm not a tanky.
Just give the government more power to implement left-wing policies. Just give them infinite power.
I'm not a tanky. I'm not.
Oh yeah, and earlier you said all of these nations to just nationalize all of their industry in order to combat U.S. imperialism. You're just a tanky.
I'm not a tanky.
You're just a tanky.
I'm not a tanky.
You're like one step below a tanky, and yet you call yourself an anarchist. It's shameful.
I said parliamentary system.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it. One party parliament, whatever.
Well, one party is actually a democracy. Wait, no. Hear me out here. A one-party state is still a democracy because you elect the cadres or the at the local level. Like whoever you run, like it's voting for them is actually just a stamp of approval in the final part of the process. But like there's still a primary that happens. You still get to choose who runs.
Interesting.
Yeah.
As regular publishers of multi-hour content, what do you see as the values of long-form media? What about long-form live events?
I'm gonna take my jacket.
Oh, live events. I just make long-form media because I record a lot of shit. It's not really an intentional choice. I'm I'm very long-winded. I like to rant about stuff for a long time. It's just kind of natural. Like I'm not. If anything, I don't really like it. I kind of wish I was making shorter, more concise videos that were like precise and stuff. Yeah.
Am I a long form? Do I make long form videos?
Not really.
No, most of my videos are pretty short.
In modern YouTube standards, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think of Hinduism and Buddhism?
Wait,
I forgot. Osaka self-cell. What's a self-cell?
I think that was in regards to the comment I made about me and my ex-girlfriend being too young to have sex. Yeah.
What do you think of Hinduism and Buddhism? They're interesting.
I think they're interesting. Yeah, Buddhism is based because desire is bad, but also I'm an egoist, so it's not.
Look, I think Osaka could do with some more Buddhism. I've been thinking this recently.
Yeah.
I think if you became a Buddhist, your life would actually improve a lot.
My track marks healed, by the way. They're not there.
Interesting.
And they're gonna stay not there.
Good.
Yeah, because I need Buddhism.
Yeah.
That I don't know how proud of this I am. Like it's like I don't know.
I mean that's good, I think.
It's progress.
It's progress.
It's progress, yes.
We're always talking about progress.
Mm-hmm.
Progressivism. This is the real progressivism.
Yeah. It's you want freedom? Start here. You can
It's so true.
Like you can stop any day. It's hard, it's really hard, but you can, if you're out there and you have a drug problem, there's no shame in admitting it. Even if you have a lot of friends who do drugs the way that I do, who might not be super supportive at first, like there's help out there you can get.
Spitting facts.
Yeah.
Anyway, Hinduism and Buddhism. The Hindus, they've got a lot of really cool epics. That's the main thing I like about them. And they also, one of the things I like about Hinduism is that they accept atheists because they say God can appear in any form, including no form,
Yeah.
which is really based, in my opinion. And Buddhism, because I'm a weeb, I particularly like Japanese Zen Buddhism, and that's not even necessarily true. I like a lot of old Japanese Buddhist texts, like essays on idleness and hojoki.
Yeah.
I think they're required reading for any like hikikomori. And I don't know, Buddhism is interesting to me, even though I don't know.
Yeah.
I found your music through n0saka Spotify playlist. Now oh god, I hate n0saka so much, it's unreal.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, n0saka, any thoughts on Adolf Hitler?
He was an opportunist that ultimately ended up gaining power due to the economic and social conditions of Germany at the time, and did a lot of really bad stuff to literally people in my family. Like I have Holocaust victims in my family.
Me too.
Yeah.
Adolf Hitler, generally not a great guy in my opinion.
No, really bad.
Kind of a mixed up all over the place guy. Didn't like capitalism.
That's not true. He loved capitalism. He killed Strasser.
He loved capitalism. I mean, he didn't like it. IQ tested eugenics. Eugenics works. Do you think the Great Firewall of China is a good thing because you need to be somewhat intelligent to circumvent it? Yes. Would the internet be better if different countries had separate internets?
Yes.
No, not if they actually had separate internets.
Well, not if. Okay.
Like Nick Land thinks this, by the way. He thinks that that's the future and that it's good as well.
Yeah.
He calls it the splinternet.
I think in a splinternet type scenario, there would still be a way for everyone to connect with like Tor or something.
It's possible. I don't know. I've heard that China's like cracking down on bypassing the firewall, but I don't 100% know.
Of course they are. States always desire more power. The thing is, in principle, the Great Firewall is an objectively good thing, but in practice,
you're such a tanky. You're so exactly a tanky still.
I'm not.
It's insane.
Well,
I was like, oh, I didn't even know this was the case.
Well, wait. Let me finish.
This is like mind blowing.
Let me finish my statement. Hold on there. Hold on. States always desire more power because they're like in an entropic like black hole, and so there was a period of time where you could make a pretty good argument in favor of the Great Firewall. That time is not anymore because they're cracking down on the intelligent users of the internet who were circumventing it. Because of course they were. Like, this is what states always do. The state is bad. You need to get rid of it. Yeah.
Yes, it will wither away, but don't worry.
It's not. No.
Was the Great Leap Forward necessary?
No. I mean, the goal of the Great Leap Forward was industrialization. Which I think industrialization has gone way too far by now, and we need some kind of like degrowth.
And you call me an ad-prim.
What? Degrowth is not an ad-prim take.
People will call you an ad-prim if you advocate for degrowth. People on Twitter will call you an ad-prim.
That's insane. But yeah, like I think in like the society was extremely backwards. So like, of course, creating mechanisms by which there could be like food security and like economic development, that was good. But the way in which they went about it was like, because centrally planned economies historically have not really worked.
But you still think they're good?
No, well, I think they're good when they're run by computers and when they're done at like a much smaller scale. So when I say I like centrally planned economies, I'm talking about like the structure of a corporation, and then like taking that to like a community scale, like not even for everything, like for certain things. So you'd have decentralized and centralized planning simultaneously. But like, no, at a countrywide scale, it seems to like result in almost universal failure, except when you're like first industrializing. But even then, like a lot of death is involved. So it's like, I don't know. But like, yeah.
Yeah, I sort of agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you that the Great Leap Forward bad.
It was bad.
But I don't know. I'm just more skeptical of this like cyber sin centrally planned economy with computers thing, just because there's only been one time it's been tried really, and actually that's not true, because I always argue that like modern sort of informatics, like the Cambridge Analytica, like the way all of these companies track so much data about you, that the amount of money you spend isn't actually the market feedback the market feedback isn't their main feedback mechanism anymore. It's just sort of their reward for doing the other feedback mechanisms accurately. And the argument, I suppose, is like if they can do it and the market is just the reward, then you can do that democratically without money. And yeah, it's not bad. I think, yeah. The UK has a net 504,000 immigration in the latest statistics. Is this a good thing?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's probably about a decent. I wouldn't want any higher immigration than that, but that's
You don't
about.
want me to immigrate here?
That's. I mean, you would, if you can immigrate here, then you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Land does not equal people. No and I agree on something big time. Yeah, I think that's pretty obvious. What do you think of the BBC? Should the US also have a BBC? Isn't NPR and like PBS?
Yeah, that's the public broadcasting system. That's what it stands for.
Yeah, the Broadcasting Corporation, not something else. I think the BBC is good for news about stuff that isn't the UK. But yeah, generally speaking, the BBC is pretty good. I guess the BBC and the Financial Times are like my go-to news sources. So
yeah, same.
The whole go outside and talk to people meme makes politics out to be a separate thing and not just the application of things people believe. I'm very glad Thanksgiving is so politicized. At least we're talking about something. This is interesting take.
It's an interesting take, but I'm like,
yeah, I don't know about I mean, I also don't like the go outside and talk to people. I refuse. But I do think makes politics out to be a separate thing and not just the application of things people believe. Yeah, I don't know. The reply I would give is my general counterpoint to the everything is political, which I think it's a categorical error. That politics is essentially a field of study or a way of looking at the world, and a particular angle by which you might look at the world, in the same way like physics is or biology is, or any field of study is an angle of looking at the world, and consequently you can apply it to anything, but like it's up to you to make the decision of which angle you think is actually useful for looking at anything. So for example, if I was to, this is the example I always give. It's kind of a shitty one, but anyway, like if I was to go to a political debate, and instead of analyzing the participants' answers or to the questions or anything like that, I was to instead do a detailed analysis of the fluid dynamics of the air as it left the debaters' mouths. I could be totally right. I could have a perfectly accurate fluid simulation of the air as it left the debaters' mouths, and I could really analyze the situation through fluid dynamics physics models, but it wouldn't be useful for anything. In the same way, I think there's a lot of things that are politicized where it might be true, it might be correct, the assertions they're making, but it's not actually useful. It's not actually the best way of looking at that situation. And I think that's the real challenge. It's not to realize that everything is political. It's that everything can be looked at through a political lens, but it's not necessarily useful for every situation. And I think it's oftentimes not useful.
Yeah, I agree. But I like Tarbuck's point about like the application of things people believe being what politics is. The day I rob a bank is the first day I'm not lying.
Was the Venezuelan economy sabotaged by the US?
That's half true, but it's not the whole story. I think populism generally leads to like extraordinarily bad economic policy. And this is something that occurred in certain states in the pink tide, definitely not in others, but I think Venezuela and Nicaragua are
Nicaragua
are like by far the best examples of state policy in the economy failing. But that being said, like there was like objectively there was a great amount of sabotage by the US, but that's not the whole story. Like there was mismanagement of resources. They could have diversified the economy early on instead of having it entirely rely on oil. They didn't. Um, you know, they could have diverted resources to people and areas of the economy that rather than just saying like we need to kill you immediately or whatever, like they could have like worked with them like as some form of like class collaboration. Um, and for a time, I think that would have like bolstered development, but I don't know.
Do we need the police, courts of law, and the law?
No.
I think there are too many laws. I think we need to get rid of. I think we need to have a policy where every we need to immediately institute a policy where we need to abolish 20% of laws. Figure it out.
Mhm.
Consolidate them, abolish the antiquated ones that don't mean anything, or the ones that are harmful, like drug abolition and stuff like that. We need to get rid of at least 20% of the laws. Then, in like 20 years' time, we do it again. We get rid of another 20%. Then in 20, and eventually, we just have a very short rule book of like very simple, easy to understand laws that cover pretty much every base. This is what I believe.
I mean, I think the functions of the police can all be handled by regular people.
Yeah, the police, I think, probably don't need to exist.
But at the same time, I think the fact that I'm saying this, it's a profoundly white position to have because when you talk to black people, they more than any other group in my country of origin love the police. You talk to them in these communities and it's like they don't want to defund the police. They want the police to be held accountable. They want it to be more democratic, but they want to bolster their power in some regards. And I think it's because you look at something like black on black crime, you look
It's
at
true.
like you look at like how these communities are ravaged by the consequences of like redlining and like economic policy that has been historically racist. And they see the police as people who protect them. I know that when I walk down the street in New York City and I see 3 cops, on the way, it's unlikely that I'm going to get robbed in that area where there's such militarized so many police. And I think a lot of black Americans believe the same thing. And so I think that like I think two things simultaneously. Like I think it is true that we don't need the cops, but a world in which we don't need the cops, the world that I'm envisioning, is so radically different than the world that we're in today that to like say that it would be a hard sell for people, especially black people. And so in the short term, I think we do need them due to like the consequences of industrialization and living in like such large cities and like racist economic policy. They should be held to account, reformed, but ultimately like in a world where like we've deindustrialized and like made the communities smaller, growed our own food and whatnot, we don't need them.
This is another example of Osaka just believing the same thing I did a year later. You should do a Topsters music chart. I've done a whole bunch of them.
Yes.
Is whiteness a state of mind?
Yeah.
No.
It's made up.
I don't know about any of this. I don't even want to engage in this.
Okay.
How much do you hate London? I like London.
I love London.
What do you think of the weird spiritualist stuff? It's stupid.
Yeah.
In Alcoholics Anonymous. It's
a
fucking
cult.
retarded. It's a cult.
Yeah.
What made you get into anime? Do you know?
My dad introduced me.
I've just been a weeb since I can remember, but it took me way too long to get into anime. The reason I became a weeb is because when I was in like school, first like year 2, like which was my school start, it was weird. But anyway, when I was like first going to primary school, there was a whole bunch of a crew of Japanese kids joining at the same time who didn't speak English, and I just thought they were cool and like wanted to like be friends with them. And so I started taking Japanese lessons. For years, I took Japanese lessons. As a kid, I really didn't study. I had it was 1 hour once a week. There's no way you can learn a language like that. It was never going to happen. But I did learn to read like hiragana and katakana and basic syntax and vocab and stuff.
Mhm.
But I didn't learn Japanese. I can't speak Japanese. Nihongo tabemasen.
ニュージーランド人ですか?
But yeah, so I've just always really liked that, like, Japanese-ness. And then at my local library, they had a couple of random issues of Bleach, the first 3 volumes of Yu-Gi-Oh, and that was about it. And I think there was a Pokemon manga there as well. And I read those like over and over again as a kid. I was obsessed with them. But I didn't actually watch any anime until way later, which was because of 4chan, because I wanted to understand the reaction images that people were posting on 4chan. So that's how I really got into anime.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
オーストラリア人です。
Yeah. イギリス人です。
わかります。
そうです。そうですね。あ、大阪さん。ニュージーランド人です。ですか？
いいえ。わかりません。
わかりません。
I don't understand.
I asked, are you from New Zealand?
I know that, but I was like, いいえ。わかりません。
No, I don't understand. Kimi ga America jin desu. I don't know why my accent's so wrong. I normally have a pretty good Japanese accent.
I see.
そうですか。そうですね。
そうです。
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 ですね。
はい、そうです。
はい。
会社員です。
何？
Are you a company employee?
Yeah. ニートです。あれはベストニートです。
いや、引きこもり人。
引きこもり人。All right, that's enough Japanese.
Yeah.
Where was I? What may gonna dip. Glad I caught some of it. Do you feel more connected to anime from your era? Does that make you feel old? I just like moe anime in particular. Like I don't really like anime the whole medium. I particularly like moe anime and some like art housey films. And so I just like sort of the peak of moe anime, which is like 2007 to like what I consider the peak of moe anime is like 2007 to like 2014-ish. So that's most of the shows I watch are from around that era. Yeah, but I guess that also happens to be the time period when I kind of got into anime, but
I like stuff from the 80s the most.
Yeah, you're a nerd. You will own nothing and you will be happy. What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Everything.
No, wait, what? Really?
I refuse to be happy.
Oh, okay.
You should read the book Smile or Die.
Okay.
That's a really good book.
I've been meaning to. Is crypto a scam?
Bitcoin is the solution to the Kantian problem of space time.
I mean, I feel like it's really good for providing like alternative forms of like,
it's really good for buying drugs, is what Osaka's trying to say.
No, well, okay. So in theory, the free market should do its job, right? Like, because people police markets and products based on like whether or not they pay for them. In practice, however, with like all of the regulation of goods and services that we don't have that system. However, there are alternative marketplaces and means of transactions that exist in the world using crypto, where we can actually see a much closer representation of that free market in theory occurring today. And so I think like things like Monero, which make like your transactions much more private, and so on. Like these are good. It's good that these exist.
Yeah, I don't think crypto as a whole is a scam. I think most of crypto is a scam, though.
Yeah, I think we need a blockchain constitution.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Are you Jewish?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't really identify with the label Jewish, but like genetically, I'm a little bit Jewish.
Yeah, me too. Am I more Jewish genetically than you, or no?
No. I'm more Jewish. How did you come up with your respective usernames?
I just had a meme someone sent me that said
it was me. I sent.
No, you didn't send.
No, I didn't.
Rags did.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It said Osaka syndrome Instead of
Yeah.
Rain, there is Osaka. Then I was like, oh, that's me. And I just changed all my branding to be that.
I see. I came up with my name. I just tell everyone it's because of the K on the ending. It's not actually true, but you can believe it if you want to.
Are hierarchies inevitable? Some
Yes,
of them,
some of them.
but some of them are justified.
Even some that aren't justified are inevitable. Why not use an extension like Vimium rather than Qt Browser, like Qt, which doesn't block ads properly? I talked about that in the video that I'm assuming you're referencing. The reason is that Vimium, those extensions just suck once you've used Qt Browser. That's so like where the Vim like keybinds are so well integrated. Not to mention the extensibility that Qt Browser allows for is just on another level compared to any other like mainstream browser with just an add-on. It's not really comparable, and I have so much like personalized stuff on my Qt browser that just works really well for me. And again, Qt browser doesn't block ads properly, but there are ways to get around it, as I talked about in the video. And it blocks most of the worst ads. Do you pay for the Financial Times? There's an extension for Firefox to go. No, I do not pay for the Financial Times. I only read the free articles. Let's just say that. Was the internet and its consequences a mistake? Definitely not.
No, we wouldn't be here today without that.
How do you respond to right-wingers who say you should look at society from a spiritual perspective rather than a material perspective?
I don't know why you can't unify the two.
I don't know what is meant by spiritual perspective. Should pornography be banned? Is 2D porn less immoral because no one is directly being harmed in the making of it? Yes, I actually agree.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it should be banned.
I don't think it should be banned, no.
Because it's a free speech issue. But it like, yeah, 2D porn is like morally better if we're looking at things through a moral framework.
Yeah, it's also just better.
Yeah.
What do you think of masochism? Is it a mental illness? I don't think it's a mental illness.
I'm a masochist, but like not like on a broad scale.
What do you think of the streamer Destiny? I kind of like Destiny.
Yeah, me too. He's a smart chap, good rhetoric, good research. Yeah.
But it definitely helped me to learn like how to debate in a slimy, slippery manner.
You think he's slimy and slippery?
He's not as slimy and slippery as some people call him, but he's slimier and slipperier than the average person, I think.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of Chile changing its CIA? Wait, I skipped. Wait, what? Hold on.
Dictator-era constitution. Chile has been economically stable compared to neighboring Argentina and Brazil. What do you think of Peronism? Interesting. Yeah, I think they should absolutely change their constitution. I don't think the economic stability of the country is due to neoliberalism. I think it's due to a complicated multitude of factors involving geography and resources and the education of the population. And in fact, Chile was one of the most developed Latin American countries, like at the time of Allende, when he, was democratically elected and then disposed of. Chile has been, more developed for a long time. Argentina, they've just been kind of fucked by the IMF. And Brazil is complicated. Like, I don't want to get into Brazil, but like, yeah, I don't think the narrative that it's like solely neoliberalism is like, I think it's kind of a misnomer. Also, despite that constitution, they've had like a leftward bent in government basically ever since they installed democracy, with the Social Democrats instituting a lot of pretty pog reforms there. So I don't know.
Hi, Maliboom. Simon says, government bad. Brilliant deduction.
Yeah.
Both of us can very well justify government bad in unique ways, I think, especially me. Osaka's just a tanky.
I'm not a tanky.
It's superficially learning many skills. There's the thing about tankies. They'll be like, yeah, the state is bad. Lenin said it. It's bad. But also, let's just support it.
Wait, you think I'm a Leninist
You're a
now?
Leninist. You're whatever you want to be.
Is
superficially learning many skills on the internet really useful when compared to learning just one skill well? No, but it is fun. That's the important thing.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people on the internet will learn a little bit about everything. Yeah, and it's fun. And why shouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do everything just because it's useful. People should do things for fun. Should people identify with their race? Is it wrong for people to identify with their race? That's a good question.
I don't think they should, but I also don't think it's wrong if they do. Like, n0saka calls themselves Estonian and is like really nationalistic about it.
That's not true at all.
In my estimation, it's true.
I don't think that's true at all.
In my perception, it's true.
n0saka isn't even ethnically Estonian.
What are they? Are they?
I don't know, but they told me they're not Finno-Ugric.
So are they?
But
are,
no, apparently no one's actually Finno-Ugric in Estonia anymore. They're like all mutts.
Oh, okay.
It's just the language that's remained Finno. Like they all migrated up to Finland.
I see.
I don't know too many details about Estonia.
Mhm.
Should people identify with their race? You know what? I'm just not going to answer that question.
Whoa. Okay.
What is the first? Well, I don't think. I think it's too complicated. I don't want to get into it.
I mean, what race am I?
I don't know. You're in a Merrimack.
Well, I mean, exactly. So it's like, what's the point?
No, I don't think you should identify with your race. I don't think I should identify with my race necessarily.
I don't have a race.
Yeah, like no, I think on a general scale, I don't think people should identify with their race. But there are certain caveats I would like to make, but they're just too nuanced and edge case that I don't really want to bother.
Yeah.
What is the first anime you watched from beginning to end? Does it still hold up? It was Love, Chunibyo, and Other Delusions, and yes, I think it still holds up.
Kirby, right back at ya. I've watched it every Saturday morning for all like 64 episodes.
Based.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to manual or technical skills, it's better to focus on just one and become great. When it comes to learning about things in theory, the more the better. Yeah, that's fair.
I agree.
I'm glad I didn't miss the stream. My two favorite internet people. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
What do you think of the word weeb? Should people be using it? Can you give its definition of otaku? Would you use these words to describe yourself? If not, then why not?
I use both to describe myself. I think they're funny.
Yeah, they mean different things though.
Yeah.
I think the word weeb is fine. I think people get really caught up in terminology because they're all autistic, and I used to too. But since I have just sort of chilled out, and I'm just like, I'll call myself a weeb when I'm saying I probably like Japan to an illogical extent, just because I'm a weeb, I guess.
Yeah.
But otaku is a more precise word. Like it specifically means like a maniac hobbyist of some particular databasing thing.
Mhm.
And I think it's a good word.
Yeah.
Do you watch anime English subbed or dubbed? Obviously, I'm assuming we're both subs.
I'm generally subs, but in certain edge cases, I'll watch dubs, especially like if my bipolar ADHD is like really bad. I'll watch dubs and then play a video game in the background.
I can't stand dub acting.
I hate it too, but it's like sometimes the only way I can finish a show.
What is the problem with English dubs? They suck.
Yeah, they all have like the same 5 voice actors, and they're all bad at their job.
Yeah, they just. I mean, the weird thing is that at the time, like, no one had figured out how to do an anime girl voice in English.
Yeah.
But now VTubers have figured it out. It's a miracle that's happening in our times. English VTubers have figured out how to make an American or English speaking anime girl voice actually sound good.
Yeah.
And yet, I don't see their talents being used in the dubbing industry. Any tips for learning Japanese? Should people who are into anime learn Japanese? Learn Japanese, just do AJAT and Anki Dex. You'll be fine.
Yeah, and also I think they should learn Japanese because it brings you closer to the source material.
I agree, if not just for the puns.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had the what is it called? The motivation and dedication to learn Japanese, because I feel like I would watch way more anime if I didn't have to read subtitles.
Is Moe dead? No, I don't think so at all.
It's more alive than ever.
And I don't think it's more alive than ever, but it's definitely sort of become subsumed into the culture to where it's like hard to separate Moe from non-Moe.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I don't think that's a problem. Why do people hate Moe? They just liked anime for different reasons. Whether Moe hate is wrong? Undoubtedly, yes.
Yep.
Does anime need to be saved? No, it's doing all right.
Yeah.
People who are into anime should learn Japanese. There are so many untranslated visual novels and light novels. So true. So true. No, thank you. What's good about Hidamari's sketch? Do you like Hidamari's sketch? Osaka, is Hidamari's sketch political? What's good about it? You know what? I'm just gonna redirect you to another YouTube video.
It's got baths.
It's got baths in it. It's true.
Yeah.
There's a video. Hold on.
I like the show, but I never had the patience to finish it because I was depressed.
It is like 60 episodes or something.
It's
yeah.
like 60 hours long.
Okay, if you go and watch this video called Hidamari Sketch is a work of art by Pico the Spicy Warlord,
Yeah.
I pretty much agree with everything he has to say about Hidamari Sketch. It's like an hour-long video essay. I'm not gonna just like do a half-assed attempt. Just watch that.
Yeah.
Is Hidamari Sketch political? I don't think it's like blatantly political.
Not explicitly, no.
Yeah, I think if you really wanted to, you could get some sort of political message out of it.
Should governments be fiscally conservative? Yes. I think generally, like, it's not good to borrow your way out of whatever political problem that you have. But the way that fiscal conservatism, I think, should be reached is not through austerity, it's through taxation and smart investments. When you do have to do policy that involves debt, the policy should always like ultimately yield better results than when you started out, a return on the investment, one might say.
What's the difference between moe and lewdness? They're not related at all. Moe is the feeling that you get when it is specifically the feeling of I want to protect this smile. That is moe. It has nothing to do with lewdness. Remember that Twitter controversy about Uzaki-chan as an anime? I didn't like Uzaki-chan. It just looked ugly and was unentertaining. Do you think freedom of expression is dying? No, not really. What is Denpa and is it dead?
It's more alive than ever.
It's more, yeah.
It's happening right now.
True. Do you watch any VTubers? Yeah, I watch Fallen Shadow.
I watch Indonesian VTube whenever I like try to learn Indonesian again, and Spanish VTube whenever I try to learn Spanish again.
What do you think of the Bakemonogatari series? I like it a lot.
The books are way better than the show.
No, well, one of my favorite things about the show is the directing. So
the directing's good, but it's like, I don't know. I have trouble watching the show and focusing on it. I don't know.
Oh yeah, we had the Great Monogatari debate back in the day.
Yeah, but I thought things I don't think anymore.
I see. Like tanky things? Oh wait, no, you still think.
Stop. You're gonna meme this into reality.
Are you at all into the Cowbell saga, Jinro or Oshi in general? I actually haven't seen either of those, but I do like Oshi.
Genro is great. Genro is one of my favorite things.
Do you need to be a NEET to read visual novels? They're so long. You just read a little bit at a time. You'll be fine. Yeah. Capitalism works. What's wrong with this statement?
I would add. Oh wait, do you want to respond first?
I think capitalism does work.
Okay, then we disagree. I would ask if capitalism works for the millions of people in places like Brazil, Guatemala, Ethiopia. Go down the list. Capitalism is not working for those countries, and it's not working for those countries because capitalism intrinsically is married to imperialism, an economic form of coercion, and I would argue genocide that has plunged these nations into poverty pretty much eternally. And so for people, billions of people all over the world, capitalism is not working every single day of their lives.
I think what I should have said is the free market works rather than capitalism works. Because I agree with you. I think you agree that the free market kind of works.
It does for certain things. It works for innovation.
That's the sort of thing I agree with.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen or read One Piece? I haven't.
I have, not in its entirety, obviously, but I like the early portions of the show. Even some of the filler I like. The manga I haven't bothered trying to read.
Can you end your feelings by satisfyingly describing them?
I can. I 100% can. I did that with These Four Walls.
I don't know about end my feelings, but I can reach like an emotional catharsis where I'm like, this is done, and then I'm kind of on like the afterglow of the feelings. But it's still a part of the process is the afterglow. So I don't know. Yeah. What do you think of Haruhi Suzumiya? It's kind of forgotten. Is it? I love Haruhi.
Yeah. I like Haruhi well enough. It's a thing.
Hello, remember me?
No.
Do you read light novels? I've read a couple of light novels.
Monogatari series, by far the best light novels besides Welcome to the NHK.
I've read Welcome to the NHK, which is amazing, and the No Game No Life light novels are great.
I haven't read it yet.
The show is a very direct adaptation. There's not many differences,
Mm.
and I've read the first book of the Horizon in the Middle of Nowhere light novels. Very, very dense, hard to read and keep track of all the 50 or so characters. But if you want to take notes and read it, I could recommend it.
Mhm.
My otaku opinions are the most normal and also the most based. Best anime are the Miyazaki ones, and the best manga is One Piece. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with you on that. Do you like Ghibli films? Yeah, I love Ghibli films.
Yeah, same. The best ones are all by I almost said Osamu Tezuka. That's not who I was thinking of.
The other guy who's not Miyazaki.
Takahata.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
The best one, not just that they're all the best ones are by Takahata, but Grave of Fireflies is like an unparalleled piece of cinema.
yeah, I think I think Totoro is the best Ghibli movie, but
I watched
Yeah.
that on acid with my ex, and
I remember that happening.
yeah, and it was like, all right, the movie's all right. I had seen it properly before that, by the way, but
Mhm.
it's I don't know. He was really into the movie and like in love with it, and I was just like,
I really like Totoro. Fallen Shadow is one of the few times I thought an English lolly voice sounded. I know, right? It's crazy.
Mhm.
Have you read No Longer Human? I haven't.
It's great. I think The Setting Sun is a better book. Controversial take, I know, but No Longer Human's really good.
I'll go further and say Miyazaki is the best filmmaker alive. I don't know if I agree with that.
You're missing Scorsese. You spelled Scorsese wrong.
I don't think Scorsese is the best filmmaker alive either.
I've seen all of his movies.
Yeah, I mean, I like Scorsese, but I don't think he's the best filmmaker alive.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know who is, but I don't know if it's him. It might be John Carpenter, maybe.
Interesting. Okay.
I do really like John Carpenter. Should people stop complaining about isekai? I feel
No.
like they have.
I think they should start complaining about it again.
No, I feel like isekai is fine.
I fucking hate isekai.
No, you just need to smoke some weed, man.
And,
Trust
what,
me,
you
it all
want me to
makes sense when you
hallucinate
smoke some
and-
weed.
You want me to hallucinate and go into a paranoid
Yeah,
psychosis?
then you'll understand it.
I see.
No, isekai's fine. Everyone complaining about it's a fucking retard. Sorry.
There's never been a good isekai.
No Game No Life is a good isekai.
No.
Yes.
It looks bad.
It looks amazing. Oh my god, are we gonna get the colors argument?
The
again?
colors are off.
No,
yes.
okay.
The
I'm
color.
gonna kill myself. Have you read/watched anything by Tezuka?
Yes.
Is Blackjack by Tezuka?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've read a couple of chapters of Blackjack when I was a kid. The removable of honorifics in the translation of the Monogatari light novels kind of bothers me since it's inconsistent. Yeah, that sounds annoying.
I don't care.
Grave of the Fireflies felt a bit preachy. I don't know. Yeah, same.
But it was preachy about correct idea or about the right things.
Such an inspiring stream. I'm gonna start learning Japanese again. Pog.
Wonderful.
Gambare. Other than that, the translation reads, well, the second filmmaker alive is Paul Thomas Anderson.
You know, I'm sympathetic
Yeah,
to
that's
that.
not a bad take.
That's not a bad take. No, Licorice Pizza is good because
I
it's
haven't
about
seen
an
it.
adult-child relationship.
Oh my god.
It's just realistic. Like kids are
Okay, let's
fucking.
let's move on.
And love is
Favorite Satoshi Kon movie. Perfect Blue is the best Satoshi Kon movie by a mile.
Yeah.
John Carpenter's top 10 true.
Yeah.
Good isekai anime examples. No Game No Life. The thing about like most of them is they're not like good, but they have what I like, which is they're bad in a way that only anime can be bad, and that's kind of the stuff I like. It's kind of like the pulpy, like trashy anime stuff is kind of like why I go to the medium in the first place. So that's why I like them.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of them doing interesting stuff, like Outbreak Company is kind of a weird, interesting show.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a few. I'm not going to just name. I'm not into just naming them off, but yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen any films by Antonioni? What?
I haven't. No.
If you do not, you should watch La Ventura.
No, I've heard of that movie, but I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it. Mushoku Tensei was a good isekai. The first season was good. I didn't like the second
Have you
season.
watched Lupin the Third? Yes,
Yeah,
I've watched a lot of Lupin.
I watched a little bit of Lupin. Osaka, have you watched Luke Smith?
I regularly do. Yeah.
I wish he would go back to making technology videos and not just preaching the fucking
Orthodox
orthodox.
Christian. Yeah.
This stream has inspired me to become a tanky.
Don't do it. Tanky is bad. Why does everyone think of a tanky?
No Game No Life doesn't feel like an isekai. I agree. Do you miss harem anime and battle harems? Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
Same.
do you like n0saka? No.
No.
Have you seen Toradora? I have
Yes,
not.
It's good. Wait, you haven't seen it?
No, I always, whenever I see clips of Tiger, I'm just like, this looks like the most annoying thing ever. Have you read Lolita?
Yes.
No, I haven't.
It's a really, really good book.
I've heard this a lot. I've
Yeah.
seen the Stanley Kubrick adaptation of it, but I haven't. Literally, what happened is I was just like, wait a minute, Kubrick did an adaptation of Lolita, and I just watched it on the spot, and it was all right.
Yeah. Also, I recommend reading The Confessions of Victor X, which was just the diary of an actual pedophile who, like Nabokov based, he based like a lot of the stuff in Lolita off the real life of this guy in Russia. Yeah.
Yes, I have seen Oregairu. It's the first season. I think, if I remember correctly, it's the one where the first season is okay, and then the second season is like dog shit. Yeah, that was my opinion. The first season I thought was okay, and then the second season I thought was dog shit. I remember. Thoughts on Big Chungus?
It's a bad meme.
I agree.
Yeah.
Kubrick's Lolita is the moment Kubrick went insane MK Ultra style.
That's kind of true.
Why is Cherno based? Because of her music, obviously.
Thoughts on Taxi Driver? That's like my second favorite movie behind The Irishman.
It's a brilliant film.
Yeah. It's also about me. I relate to Travis Bickle a lot. The whole movie is about having trouble connecting with people, like consistently, like through the whole thing. Travis is struggling to connect with others, and it causes like the events in the movie to just like tackle onto one another. Yeah.
Well, we've caught up with the chat. I'm getting really hungry. I don't know. We've also been streaming for like 3 hours.
Yeah, I've been getting like progressively more and more depressed throughout the
Damn.
stream. I don't know why. It's because we've been having so much fun, and I've just been over here.
You're probably just hungry.
Do you think it's hunger?
I think other people don't realize how much hunger affects them. It seems like everyone else doesn't notice except for me.
To be fair, yeah,
You had like 2 slices of bread all day.
I had 2 slices of bread, or like 3 with Vegemite on them, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, both of us need to eat.
All right. I haven't played No More Heroes. You probably have.
I have. It's one of my favorite games.
Yeah, we're gonna go eat some food. Well, I'll have to fucking figure something out. And well, thanks for watching the stream. I had fun.
Yeah.
Peace.